Hey kids, you're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast. Prepare for the SML Podcast.
I was playing my game earlier, and my review game downstairs at the couch, and Catherine was out, so all four of the cats were just laying around me. Just like in proximity, not like just on me or anything, but they were all sharing the couch except for Vivi, who was like in his little box that was close by.
I had a pretty fun cat lineup. I was laying in bed, and if I'm laying on my back, staring up at the ceiling, Ashley's bed is on my right. We have two queens side by side. It's the greatest thing we've ever done. If you get married, do it. I promise it's the best. Oh, I love it. And then I have a cat bed to my left next to my head, where Piddles usually sleeps. Well, she went to jump up and lay with me, but Pete was laying in there, so she just went onto my right, and there's a pillow there, and she curled up next to me. And then Simon came up and laid to the left of me next to the bed. And then Pork moved from Ashley's side over to my right side. I was surrounded by four cats. I was boxed in.
So I haven't been sleeping very well for the last few days because Teak has decided that she wants to sleep on my pillow while I am trying to use my pillow. Yeah. So I am constantly getting kicked in the head. and it's hot because she's so fluffy. It's been a struggle.
You have a cat bed you can put next to your pillow?
We have tried to get her to use a cat bed, and she's like, nope. I don't know why all of a sudden she hasn't like tried to sleep on anyone's head since she was a kitten until very recently. I don't know what's going on with that, but she insisted. I tried to put like another pillow on top of my pillow last night, and nope. As soon as I lay down, she was like on my head. I gave up. It's like 4 nights in a row now.
Oh man. I'm so sorry.
I have a human child that does this to me too.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he gets all his fur all over my bed and kicks me in the head and tries to use my pillow and cuddles up and is all cute and then scratches me and runs away.
Adorable.
Something.
So yeah, it's the SML podcast. I'm keeping probably most of that. Horror Acolyte's here. Bri's hanging out on a Tuesday. Chris is here. Pernell's here. And Andy's here. We're going to have a Dave K joining later on as well, whenever he is free from whatever the hell he's doing tonight. How's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good, man.
Yeah.
Not too
Doing
bad.
good. Allergies kicking my ass this week.
How many of you got bought out by the Saudis this week? Anyone?
Thinking about it.
I have an offer on the table. I've been considering it. They're like $250. I'm like, what? $250 million? No, $250. $250,000? Like, yeah, $2.50. I am considering it. That is a lot of money for what we do. $2.50. That's like a quarter if we split it evenly through all of us.
That's pretty good, dude.
Yeah.
That's like a sub if anybody or if you get enough to get a payout.
That's like 2 cents per year of this show.
Dude,
that's some advanced math. I don't know.
What are you waiting for, man? That's the most podcast has ever made, dude. Let's go.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, I know we're going to talk about this a lot more on Thursday. I just realized Aki's not here. What the hell?
Yeah, I just messaged her. I think she's sleeping.
Maybe. Fun. EA bought out by the Saudis and Jared Kushner. What do you think of that?
Yeah.
Well lost.
Is that bad?
Well, so it's like a $55 billion deal, but EA themselves will be going into $20 billion worth of debt as a personal mortgage on their own company as part of the deal. So I don't know how that's going to work.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
I didn't hear about
They're just
that.
gonna get
good at all for
They're
EA.
just going to get
Yeah.
shitified then.
Yeah.
Going to be. I mean, they've been going in that direction for a while, but this,
Yeah, but I mean, it'll happen a lot more rapidly.
I've already made the call to their PR team, and I made a public statement. We will no longer cover EA games. I have no interest in having their games on our show anymore.
Did we before?
Every now and then we get stuff. We'd get Madden here. We got Split Fiction, Tales of Kanzera. Didn't get a lot, but every now and then one would sneak through, and I just don't want to support that. Nope. No thanks.
Yeah, that's kind of fair.
What have I got?
Hope it doesn't mess up Battlefield 6 Shih Tzu on you says. I think it is very much going to fuck with Battlefield 6.
I've got General Chaos on the Sega Genesis.
Oh man, that's a great game.
That's an EA game. So is
Yeah,
Techno
so-
Clash. I've got that too. I got Techno Clash on the Genesis.
I still need the Haunting starring Polter guy.
Oh, I've got Shadow of the Beast 1 and 2. Both of those were published by Electronic Arts on the Genesis. So,
And
yeah,
remember when
I'll throw them away.
companies
I'm
did
just
more than sports and shooters?
Mm.
What
I
was
think that's
there?
all EA is going to do now. Just microtransaction
I mean-
heavy shooters and sports, and that's it.
Technically speaking, since they're not, beholden to like shareholders now, they do have the potential to cover more stuff without, having to stick to the old kind of framework. So whether they will or not is another thing, because obviously if they're going into a lot of debt, they might be a little more risk averse. But it is the potential to have newer games come out from different IPs now. But I don't think that'll happen. But who knows?
I don't think so either. I'm expecting the absolute worst from this deal.
Yeah, I would lean more towards that.
They are coming
myself
for
as
our
well.
video games.
Yippers. Sure are. Good shit.
I'm trying to think of the games that. Okay, yeah, DreamWorks. So DreamWorks Interactive was acquired by EA at some point, and they made some video games and like really interesting ones, like Boombots and The Neverhood and Tai-Fu: Wrath of the Tiger.
What system was that? I can't even remember what that was on. I remember
Those
the
are all
name.
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah, those are all PlayStation. Mm-hmm.
You said Boom Bots.
Skull
and
Monkeys.
My brain went to Boom Blocks on the Wii.
Oh, yeah. Boombots was a one-on-one fighting game starring cartoony robots on the PlayStation. I own it. I've had it for many years. It was who was it? It was like the developer also made some. Yeah, it was South Peak Interactive was the. So it was like made by the Neverhood and Skull Monkeys guys, which we no longer say nice things about them because Doug Tendapel was the designer, so we hate him. But it was it was DreamWorks was the publisher, and then they got bought by EA at some point.
Damn. EA bought up so much, did so little with so many, and now this. I don't think we're ever going to see like a new Mass Effect or Dragon Age.
Probably not.
No, they I was gonna say, didn't Veilguard like underperform?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
that
Nice.
very underperformed.
Didn't someone from BioWare say that they were pretty much under the impression that they have to no longer do gay stuff, quote unquote gay stuff, because of the new leadership? And they're really upset about that. Like,
I didn't
I
hear
hate
about
this
that.
shit. I hate this shit. Ugh.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because I think in that region specifically, there's a lot of censorship issues regarding certain subject matter. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised.
Just dumb. All around, it's dumb.
It is dumb. Sorry, I had to take off for a
What
second.
have you been up to, Andy?
I went to Boise, Idaho for a week and a half and hung out with my parents. Did some projects around the house for them. I do construction, so they wanted me to construct stuff. And then I went to San Diego for 2 weeks and cleaned pools with my buddy's company.
Well, if you ever feel bored and want to come to Wisconsin, I have a new house that, always needs stuff done.
At this point, I'm not doing anything. So if you got work for me and a little bit of money on the side, yeah, I'll definitely do that. That'd be sick.
What's your going rate?
Oh, Joe. It's actually funny enough. You mentioned Boom Blocks because Boom Bots reminded you of it. EA, after DreamWorks was acquired by EA, they actually did publish Boom Blocks and Boom Blocks Bash Party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when
Anyway.
EA took risks.
I suppose so. I mean, Steven Spielberg was behind Boom Blocks, so I don't think it was much of a risk.
Didn't that come out for the Wii as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fun. It's basically Jenga, but with throwing stuff.
That game was so fun.
I
It was just
remember
such a
having
great
that one. That one
stress
was cool.
reliever, too.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that
fun.
game was awesome.
Anyway, I just wanted to put a button on that thought.
Pernell, what have you been up to? How's things going on your end?
It's going, I guess. I mean, working, blood donating, sleeping, and nothing crazy going on here. I went to a board game auction and for charity and bought a bunch of stuff and then sold a bunch of stuff. You know how it goes. It was fun. I mean, I
Did
came
you
out with some
sell
great
more
items,
than you
including
bought?
some. No, I didn't sell anything on the auction. I sold some stuff I got from the auction because I had to buy lots I didn't want all of because they had things I did want in them. So you basically get duplicates of stuff you already own, but then the things you already have, you get rid of, and then that's where you get the sales in. So no, I basically contributed purely to the buying at the auction, but it ended up being a good thing. I think I've spent like 130 something, and then the stuff I sold, I got 100. What?
Nice.
In your travels that auction, did you happen to see a English version of the game Pathologic, the board game?
I'm not sure if I've even heard of that one, or maybe it's just the name is not ringing a bell right now. I can definitely tell you that if it's a game that's worth a lot of money, it wouldn't have been at this auction.
Oh, I think it's worth a little bit. It's like mostly imprinted in Russian, I think, and then there are probably only like a select handful of English copies. So.
Oh man, I can assure you, if somebody had that, they're not selling it here. They're going to get real money for it somewhere else. I'd say the most valuable thing that someone sold here, as far as general worth. I think we take that back. It's hard to say because the thing that is probably the most valuable didn't sell for much because it didn't have the audience. Somebody had an original like World War II like dog fighting board game about dog fighting, like airplane dog fighting, and it looked like it came from that era, but somehow still wasn't pristine enough condition to be able to say that they took good care of it. I was amazed to see that. But the thing that sold that is worth probably the most expensive to acquire right now that I saw someone buy. Someone sold Wingspan, as in like the entirety of Wingspan, every expansion it has, every promo card it has inside the nesting box. So retail wise, if you bought all that new, you're probably dropping like $300.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone went and bought that. I was thinking, well, if no one bids on it, I'll pay $50 for it and just walk home and take the box. But that thing went, and I was like, I'm not paying for that. I have everything but the nesting box, and I can't justify paying $80 for a box, which is why I don't have it. So, but I do like Wingspan.
I play that still looks pretty good.
Oh, I was going to say, have you played the digital version of it? Did you?
I did. Actually, I think I reviewed the Switch version for this show a couple years back.
Nice. What'd you think of it in comparison to the tabletop?
Well, I'm a little biased on that in that I think it does a fine job of replicating the game if you want the digital component, but I rarely, unless the game kind of sucks due to like over excessive need of management on the table, I very rarely stick with the digital. I very rarely stick with the digital component of a board game because I started playing board games to get away from video games. So
that's fair. That's fair.
But I
The
will
only
say,
version
if
I
you're
played of
looking,
Wingspan was the digital, so
well, I mean, yeah, it does a great job, and it has like the bird sounds accurate to the type of bird when you play it, which I thought was nice. And you can read the bird factoids that they have in the encyclopedia, and it has all the expansions. So,
okay.
I mean, they did a great job of converting it over to the digital format. So
Nice.
I feel like you're doing great with that. And the most important part, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
Nice.
Do you have
For now, you're
Tower
pretty
of
dull.
the Wizard King?
Oh, what? Two people were talking. So two.
I asked if you had Tower of the Wizard King.
Nah,
Board game from the
I've definitely
90s.
never heard of that. Nah, I've never even heard of that one. I thought for a second I was like, maybe you're talking about the Dark Tower game that came back out recently. But
Nah. I was like hunting for this for the longest time because I owned it and like we played it one time with some friends, and the one thing I remembered about it was there was a tower that you could like hit the handle on it and it would twist around and you could get put a character in and get a different one out.
1993 Parker Brothers game for 2 to 4 players.
Yep.
60 minutes average playing time. I just want to throw that in there too.
The box was purple. I say I'm probably wrong. I don't know what the box looks like. I'm not in your computer. But
Multicolored.
now, now these are games that you probably keep an eye out for. But when I'm in like gaming halls where there's like a large library made available to people to play, just in case maybe I'll come across it. But yeah, I've never heard of that one either. For all the board games I have access to and have played, I've never heard of it. Which just goes to show you just how many board games exist. There's like 3,000 or 4,000 that got released this year alone. It's ridiculous.
Pernell, do you have that tabletop simulator?
I do. I mainly got it because there was a small window where I was like play testing people's stuff online. And at one point I even did a interview/review of a board game that I taught where I met the creator at PAX. And he was like, well, we can't play it here because we're swamped, but we could schedule an interview and a play test later. And the play test/interview was on, Tabletop Simulator. And he was having a great time, but then he got a little upset towards the end because I beat him at his own game. And I was like, you threw the match so I could win, right? He was like, no, I didn't. I was like, okay, well, in that case, I'm going to take it. So
dude,
I beat the creator of his own game. Yep. I was like, oh, so that's how that worked. It's a really cool game, though. It's just, I have yet to come across the updated version of it to buy it physically, but it's a great game, especially if you like Japanese robot anime. But yeah, I play a lot of board games, if you couldn't tell.
It's all about shoots and ladders, man. We all know that.
I'm sure there's some updated version of that out there right now going by a different name. I haven't found it yet, but I'm sure it exists.
Cups and waterfalls.
I was going to say, have you played the original Shoots and Ladders called Game of the Goose? Like, that's a historic game. So Shoots and Ladders is derived from a game called Game of the Goose. It's usually a spiral, and you move forward and backward. It's a medieval board game.
See, why aren't we talking board games more often? You know about freaking Shoot the Goose?
Game of the Goose. Yeah, I specialize in medieval board games. So yeah, it's a 15th century Italian board game. It was the first commercially produced board game.
That is freaking awesome information. Nice bit of historical context. Now, and I was going to ask if anybody's redone that, but you said that's what Shoots and Ladders was based off of.
Yeah, that's the same kind of genre of game. Yep.
See, I am going to have to look around down the line and see if I can find someone has to have done something with that. I bet they have if I go looking. Now you got me wondering. Look what you did. See, that's all you're for.
Called Shoots and Ladders.
No, I mean, like, people like to do like the original, like the original thing. Like, oh man, someone actually took the original model of it with the character designs and all, and they updated it and they gave it miniatures for some reason. I'm looking for something like that. But now I'm thinking, you got me thinking about it. So look what you did.
Maybe it's on Tabletop Simulator.
Hmm.
Oh.
For now, earlier I was going to say you're a tall dude. What's your wingspan? Since you were talking about wingspan.
I never measured it. I just like to assume that I can run down the grocery store. Not assume. I just know I can go down the grocery store aisle and hit both shelves, pushing it into the shopping cart while kicking the cart with my leg. That's pretty.
Yeah, dude. What's that old grocery store like game show?
And now you understand why I know that, because I always wanted to practice for Supermarket Sweep.
Yeah, dude.
What if I ever make it on there? It was such a cool idea for a show. Between that and the other show, I think it was Video Power, where the kids had to go through the shot with all the cartridges and then Velcro them to themselves and run out the door. It's like, as a child in that era, you just kept telling yourself, one day I'm going to be on one of these shows, and when that day comes, I gotta be ready to do it up.
Practice now, dude.
Gotta get on it.
As a kid, I'm like, how many chickens do these fucking people need?
Enough.
Meat will
if I
not
can preserve
last
it
that long.
I just wanted
Well,
to go down
if I remember correctly, there was one component. If I remember correctly, wasn't there a combination? One thing was the stuff you got, the stuff you kept, but also you wanted to get as the most valuable hull to win. So.
I don't
if you're going
think you
for value,
actually kept the groceries you won
cost.
on the show. I think you just won the money.
Yeah, so you would get expensive stuff. So meat was an expensive item. So you just go around like, give me all the chickens or all the
yeah,
beef.
I didn't know that as a kid. So as a kid, I'm like,
thing.
Why do you want like 80 pounds of meat? Like, what the fuck? Go to the cereal aisle, man.
Ever.
Think of all the Ninja Turtle cereal you could get right now, bro.
Dude, it's magically delicious. Just think about it. So delicious.
Dave K, have you ever watched Supermarket Sweep?
I probably have when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
That's the thing where they time you and you just run around the store and throw shit in a cart and hope you get back by the time the buzzer sounds.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That kind of, okay. Then yes, I clearly have seen that because I just described it.
That shit was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was perfect, dude.
Thank you. What context are we discussing this? Oh, is that why you guys were talking about Ninja Turtle cereal? Is Pernell eating too much or not enough?
It started with the Pernell's wingspan. I wanted to know how far he could reach over across the aisles.
Okay.
He could hit both sides of the aisle running down a store.
What's your wingspan, man?
I got little short Irish arms, so probably not great. I would be a middle aisles dude because I also got a bad back, so I'm not doing too much bending either.
You can push the cart.
I mean, I could push the cart. Well, I don't know, man. What would I fill up on if I were doing a Superman? I guess it depends on how much time I had.
Or
I always got pissed when they wouldn't find the inflatables too. Like, dude, it's right to the left. Like, turn your head. The inflatable carrot is right there, worth $500. Get the fucking carrot.
Well,
oh, that's right, because they had like gimmicky shit in there too, as I recall.
Yeah. Then at the end, where you had to find the specific box with like the red circle on it, and they're looking everywhere, and they can't see the goddamn red circle.
And if you open the wrong box, it's just a framed photo of Scott Hall.
Gotcha.
And then you're just Booker T making that face in the camera.
Oh my god.
Oh boy. That is a joke that no one cares about.
We do not have enough wrestling jokes. Where the fuck is Aki? Like, I know we got to do reviews because Bri has to leave soon.
Yeah.
And she set the alarm for 7. Or, well, I'm sorry, that's my time. 10 p.m. that time.
Sounds like this where it pays that. Obviously, have her phone number, but then she probably would have kept her phone on mute anyway, so you couldn't wake up with a sound.
Yeah, I don't know her number. I would call.
No.
Oh, well.
Well, Bri and Pernell, can you two tackle Hotel Barcelona yourselves?
We could probably figure it out. Yeah.
Okay. Should we dive into these reviews then?
Yeah. Let me pull up my notes.
Let's dive on in, baby.
All right. First game to talk about tonight is Hotel Barcelona, developed by White Owls, published by Cult Games, released September 26th on Series X and S, PS5, and PC for $29.99. Mysterious hotel stands in a remote location on the border between Pennsylvania and West Virginia. It's that area. Game's gonna suck already. Pennsylvania sucks. I hate Pennsylvania. Its luxurious appearance hides a terrifying truth. It's a trap for America's most dangerous serial killers. Yeah, it's Pennsylvania. You're Justine, a novice federal marshal with a deadly secret. Your mind is shared with Dr. Carnival, a deranged murderer with a violent past. Together, you must eliminate every killer in the hotel and try to survive long enough to escape. Pernell and Bri, this game sounds batshit insane, and with the people involved, I think that is the compliment that they want to hear the most. So tell us what's going on in Hotel Barcelona.
So yeah, this is a Swery game. So it was bound to be weird and wonderful. If you don't know who Swery is, he made Deadly Premonition, The Good Life, Dark Dreams Don't Die, The Missing J.J. Macfield, and The Island of Memories. Those are probably the top hits, I would say. The first thing that actually drew me to the game was the line at the end of the store description. Not recommended for individuals with weak stomachs, fans of quiet indie puzzle games, people afraid of mirrors, or anyone still emotionally recovering from Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. I saw that movie in 1992 in the theater, and I'm definitely not over it. I did not, however, get to a point in the game where that made sense to me, so I definitely need to play further. The game comes with warnings about gore, violence, and depictions of self-harm, but you can turn the gore down if you need to in the settings. You can also remap controls. There's some colorblind options and some other accessibility things. And I thought this was neat. From the main menu, you can check your activity log, which includes information like enemies killed, deaths, favored weapons, your pinball high score, because there's a pinball machine in the game, and blood
wait, we got a button.
In liters.
We got a button for that. Hold on.
Pinball.
There we go.
But yeah,
Wait, what?
blood bathed in liters was one of the stats in there, and there's an achievement for that as well on Xbox that I got for getting like a certain amount of blood bathed in. So you know the game's going to be bloody.
Rated M for mature.
Yeah. And there are some cool nods in the game. There's like some David Lynch nods, like the zigzag carpet of the red room floor that's in your hotel room. And the hotel lobby is reminiscent of the Overlook Hotel in The Shining. And we're in room 217, which is the famous haunted room in the Stanley Hotel that inspired The Shining in the first place. Although room 217 is in the book, not in the movie. They actually changed that to 237 because the hotel they filmed it at, they didn't want people to come back to the hotel and be afraid to stay in room 217. So they changed it for the movie, just in case you didn't know that. So,
interesting.
So yeah, back to the game. Yeah. So definitely some cool nods there. You can tell where the writers drew some inspiration. There's some lengthy anime movie scenes that are part of the story. You can rewatch them at any time from the main menu. But yeah, we're Justine, Federal Marshal. We start out in a fight that's not easy to beat. It's apparently doable because Aki did it. I have no idea how.
Aki, how did you do? Oh, she's not.
I know. And then we wake up in a hotel talking to an imprisoned serial killer named Dr. Carnival, and he reminds us what happened the night before, where we picked up a hitchhiker that was embodied with a violent spirit of justice. And since he died and we're now trapped in this place, we have to like have our soul bound with Dr. Carnival or something like that. And when she goes into battle, Justine transforms from a mousy woman into this hot-headed fighter with the soul of the serial killer. Yeah, it's I don't know, roguelike, I guess, is the term. It's side-scrolling hack and slash, and I don't know, someone else might want to describe that better than I just did. Pernell?
I don't think you were all. It's a side-scrolling hack and slash combat game.
Is there a more
what else were you going to say?
I don't know.
You can win things by watching. I don't know. No, it's a side-scrolling hack and slash. Side-scrolling combat game with roguelike elements, but the game is interesting in how they do it because the actual levels themselves have the exact same structure. The structure of the level itself doesn't change. However, the levels themselves are composed of a series of interconnected sections that inevitably all funnel you back to the final boss at the end. As you're running through a level, you get access to couple of series of base attacks, though they kind of configure differently based on what weapon you're equipped with. But essentially, you have a light attack, heavy attack, and you have a firearm you can use to get some bit of a distance going for yourself. But as you beat the stuffing out of monsters, you will generate blood. That's where the blood covered stat comes in. You basically cover yourself in blood as you defeat as many enemies as you can. And eventually, if you can manage to get that blood gauge maxed out, but early on, it's not going to happen because, good God, it takes a while and you need to get more perks for it to really kick in. But once you pull it off, you can get her carnival mode, and that's essentially like a screen wipe where Dr. Carnival takes over and just starts damaging things for you, which is pretty nice and convenient when the time is right. But the game is a jerk because certain levels, or in the event that it's a level where it happens to be raining, because the weather is a variable based on when you enter a level. The blood actually can get washed off of you, so you lose access to that perk. But the way that the roguelike works in this context is that when you go to a section of a level, you are given a choice of a series of doors, think like hotel room doors, that connect you to the different areas. And each one of those, this part is randomly determined, will give you a different buff depending on which door you enter. So you might enter a door that gives you a speed boost for your attack speed, which, if you're me, you'll almost always take that because, good God, attacking is janky slow in this game. But in other ways, you might find yourself low on HP, which means you might hope to find a door where the bonus is a recovery zone, where you get health back just by entering that door. This will continue on until you eventually get to the boss, and hopefully you'll manage to defeat the boss. But if you happen to die, whether on the boss or throughout the level, you'll get kicked back to the hotel. And once you're in the hotel, you can spend the items you've acquired through your run. That could be all sorts of gross crap. You've got teeth, you got bones, you got ears.
Yeah.
So, and it just adds up. And apparently there's a guy who loves ears. Why? I don't know. Because, I mean, this hotel, despite being all kinds of, serial killers soaked up haunted, on the surface does seem like it also attracts some normal people too. So it just seems kind of random that there's just this bar just like, yo, man, you got some ears? Give me the ears.
The bartender
I'll give you other stuff.
Is how you get coins to play pinball, by the way. So you'll need some ears at some point if you want to play the pinball table.
But unfortunately, you don't want to always give them the ears because this game uses multiple forms of currency that collectively are used to upgrade your skills on the skill tree, also to unlock new weapons. And as a result, you're going to be going through a time trying to determine what to keep and what to burn. But you got to do it per run, because if you go into a run anew, the game burns off all your collected resources. So you got to do if you need something if you want to buy something that requires a lot of stuff, you got to make it happen while you're in the town or while you're in the hotel, or be in the area and collecting as much as you can by burning out the clock each zone, fighting things so that you can be prepared to purchase when the time is right. One other thing that's worth mentioning is that when you go back into a level having passed away previously, this game has an interesting mechanic where your ghost, think like your ghost on a time trial in a racing game, will be running through the level as you did the last time you attempted the stage. This is to the letter, mind you. So if you just happen to find yourself squatting up and down and jumping up and down over and over in the same spot, well, you just have a pretty crappy and useless ghost on this run.
Yep.
Alternatively, also, if you happen to
ghosts.
Yes, you can. You can even use skill points to unlock the ability to have more ghosts, even. The one weird thing about this, for sure, when it comes to differences on the runs, which I haven't quite nailed down yet, though I did see some currency, some items that let you choose this. But you can also spawn into these runs with different statures. Like, think big head mode in GoldenEye. Like, you can just come into the level and you're tiny. So now you're tiny and everyone else is big and they're hurting you. Or you can be gigantic and everyone else is normal size and you're just like swatting them, and they even make her voice go like a kaiju or something. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but just very weird stuff. One thing I'll say right off the cuff, though, I probably don't need to because Bri gave a fantastic overview coming into this thing, is that they did a very good job creating the atmosphere. And even though you might say, man, these voices are a little ugh, that's kind of the vibe that you get from these games typically. So they're not even bad. They're just like kind of like I don't want to switch to cheesy. I'll just go with cheesy. That's an easy way to put it. I think they nailed the atmosphere and all that stuff out of the park.
You mentioned the voiceovers.
About,
is this from the VHS tapes?
What do you mean?
The voiceovers that you're talking about.
What
you
are
can,
the
talk to different characters? Like I don't know what the VHS tape is either.
All right, because I'm looking at the Steam page right now. The developers describe how their game uses AI. Number 1, VHS tapes can be found in the late stages of the game that use voiceovers from an AI text-to-speech service. Number 2, a logo is featured on these tapes that utilize generative fill AI to complete the image. These features are being removed in an upcoming patch in favor of non-AI generated content.
I didn't get far enough to find the VHS tapes, but no, the voice acting at the beginning of the game for the main characters seems to be done by voice actors.
Okay.
I also liked that there were different fonts for each character in the text box during the conversations. That helped personalize it. Like Tim gets his own, you get this kind of feeling. So even if you don't want to listen to the game, you get like a feeling based on the font that they're using and what the character's like, which was really cool. I like Tim the Closet Monster. He's where you do your updates. The other, I was going to say a couple other things that I liked about the game is when you go into a run, you get to choose your difficulty each time you're doing a run. So there's easy, normal, hard, and slasher for each run, not a difficulty for the overall game. So if you just are struggling with the boss on normal, try a run on easy and see how far you can get so you can get points to upgrade your character that way. I know Aki said she went in on slasher like right away and was just fine until she wasn't.
This is why I wish she was actually here, because I feel like by the way you're describing Aki's experience, she is 100% counter to mine, which would be a good balance for how we describe this.
Yeah,
he's a jackass.
The other thing, Jacob. Yeah, that's the first boss's name. He's like a baseball serial killer. But no, Aki and I actually got together for a little bit to try and do some of the cross-platform multiplayer, which is between PC and Xbox only right now, not PS5. But multiplayer requires in-game money to utilize, meaning you're sacrificing the currency that you need for upgrades. And so between the two of us, over the short couple hours that we were hanging out talking about Hotel Barcelona while we were working on it, she didn't have any spare money because she was really working hard to upgrade her character to beat the next boss. And I was just starting out and struggling immensely in my runs to get anywhere at all. So I definitely wasn't earning a lot of money. So that was like a weird thing, kind of like, and the only other game I could think of that does this that I, in recent memory, is like Elden Ring has kind of a charge in game for doing multiplayer. You have to like build some sort of item to be able to do multiplayer.
Oh yeah. You have to use the curled fingers.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I don't think I'm a fan of that.
And
that
also, I remember what I was thinking about now. I meant what I was thinking for was like B movie vibes. Which I wanted to confirm that, because some people hear cheesy and go, "That's terrible." I'm like, no, cheesy is a vibe.
No,
cheesy is not bad.
No, that is a thing.
It's a vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, did you have any doppelgangers show up on your runs?
Thankfully, no. And I don't want them. I have enough trouble. Thank you.
You can turn it off in the settings. You can turn it off in the settings so that you don't get doppelgangers. But I am not even kidding. My very first run, I did not know that was a setting or that could even happen. And I got some massively overpowered doppelganger showed up in my world to mess with my game. So other players can go out and
they just chase after you?
Yeah, they just chase after you, get in your way, and kill you. And it was my very first run. Aki was in a chat with me when it happened, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" She's like, "Oh, that's a doppelganger." And I was like, "Oh, what?" She's like, "Oh, you can turn that off in the settings." And I was like, "Well, that's nice of the game to tell me." So yeah, it's like invasions. It's like invasions in Dark Souls or whatever. But yeah, it's you have to turn that off in the settings. That was definitely a weird one for me.
Oh, and one thing we should mention too is that if you somehow feel as though this game is super easy and you just want more challenge, or even if you don't, but you want the challenge because it earns you stuff, you do also have the ability to turn on special challenges during runs in various levels to say, for example, no ranged combat. And by completing these challenges successfully, you gain the ability to unlock additional stuff. So they're challenges with rewards. It's not just, hey, I feel like I want to make this game harder for no reason. No, you're making it harder for a bonus. So get on that.
Yeah, and I think they call that bondage play in the settings.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that because when you meet her, she's like, "Oh yeah, we accommodate all of our guest needs, even bondage when you want." Or like bondage plays when you do.
But yeah, you can turn off like melee attacks or all ranged attacks, or you can do different things with like health or something like that. But yeah, I think it's called bondage play.
All right, well, let's talk about price on this one. It is a $30 game. If you pick it up in the next week or so on Xbox, you could save $6. Get it for $24, but for $30 official price on this one. What do you two think?
I'll let you go first.
Ladies first.
Oh.
No, I'll beat you to it.
All right. So I feel like the price is absolutely excellent for this. I'm on the struggle bus with this game right now, and I still want to keep playing it. I felt like the fighting is pretty fluid, and it gets more complex and interesting as you unlock more things in your trees. I feel like some of the game gets a little busy for me with exploding teeth and bones and your ghosts and everything, and that's like a visual struggle for me. But I'm absolutely having a blast with the vibe, the themes that are going on, and I want to know more. So I mean, I think it's absolutely a great price for it, and I would say buy it.
See, in my take, and I'm going to preface this with being like, I am the resident guy who plays on Steam Deck, which is worth mentioning because I do know this game has Steam Deck issues from what I've been reading on from people talking about it. So the issues I have may very much be because I'm on the Steam Deck. But I'm prefacing that by saying that my feeling on the combat is the opposite of yours, which has been the main hiccup I've had, because the best way to state this is that I've been a fan of games from both of these companies for a long time. But this is the first one of their games I've played that isn't like Shadows of the Damned, or Lollipop Chainsaw, that is action focused and a side scroller, and it felt like the actual combat wasn't fluid for me. Like there was like weirdness where like it didn't, like things didn't flow the way I wanted them to. It didn't feel comfortable. But as a result of that, it made my play experience rougher. But I'm not going to lie and say that I didn't enjoy trying to get further, because the thing that they got right is what they always get right between both of them in both of their respective studios, is that the vibe, the atmosphere, the humor, it all comes together well. And I appreciate that. And I was enjoying my attempts at the game. I just was like, man, I wish I didn't suck so much at this combat. It's just not flowing the way I want. So I don't know what to make of this. So I'm going to go with a try in my case, because of the fact that I don't feel this is a deny for me. This is a game that I can see the audience for. And if I can get the combat down, maybe whether it's through Steam updates or just play it on the PC, or maybe I just suck right now. I don't freaking know. But I feel like if I got past that hurdle, the rest of the game would sink in for me, because I like pretty much everything else it's got going on. So.
Yeah, see, and I struggled with some of the combos at first, but once I started to get the combos in, like it started to really work for me. So, and I like the jumping and that kind of movement felt faster than what you said you're struggling with. So yeah. And I don't know if playing with different weapons, because there's like so many different weapons to play with. Once you get them unlocked. Yeah. I like some of the speedier weapons, but I had some fun with just an axe too. So, yeah.
Would you say you had an axe to grind?
Oh, yes.
Womp, womp.
I'll be
The
here all
combos
week,
were
folks.
a little sluggish too. So
Yeah.
Oh, Horde, did you play this one as well?
yeah, I've been
So
playing
you
it.
say you have a similar vibe
Shit.
too? Well, I mean, that's good to hear. Like, were you on PC or on Steam Deck
I was playing on PlayStation.
or on console? Did you get a
console, yeah,
similar
PlayStation
vibe with the
5, yeah.
combos?
So there's a couple combos that I thought were like a little slow to finish with the heavy attack portion of the combos. But that's why, like, there's one combo you get at the start with the I forget the knife and I forget the second implement on that weapon. But anyways, there's one combo that's like super quick, so I like would primarily use that, and then sometimes I'd use one of the longer combos to like reach a farther distance if the enemies are further away. But some of those like longer ones were a bit sluggish sometimes, it felt, so I'd try and avoid using them to get locked into kind of the animations.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear it's not just me in that thing, because I will say I did kind of get really hung up on like just using the quick light and like tap 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 to get in and out of things when I could, because I was like, well, this doesn't. I don't have that flow of like stab dash run. It was like, oh, here we go. I just don't want to get like locked down.
I was going to say, Horror, you were really good when I was watching you play this the other day. You were really good about switching to your like gun and kind of getting that in as a combo. And like once I finally figured out how to use the gun, that opened things up for me too. So I don't know.
Yeah, with the bosses especially, you want to try and use the gun like as often as possible while you're at a good distance. Well, you can be a moderate distance away from them with most of them. But yeah, I was kind of bad at that for the first little bit, but the second time I played the game, I was getting better with using the gun as often as possible.
GoldenEye said you played it on ColecoVision. Was it a good port?
We looked at it.
I used to own a ColecoVision.
That was my first system.
Oh, yeah?
Playing Zaxxon Adventure with my dad. Shit was awesome.
Nice.
Big shout out to Vertically Impaired for subbing for the 91st month. That is insane.
What?
Tony, love seeing you in here. Mr. Coolness subbed for the second month. No, 10th month. That's it. Resubscribed for 2. Subscribed for 10. See if I read that helps. Reading is fundamental.
Yay, subs.
Bri, thank you for hanging out. We will let you get going. I know your stream is coming up. Harass Aki while you're gone, and
I'll see if I can get her to get back in here and finish the art, because she's got other reviews to do tonight, right?
She's like half the show.
Oh no.
Also, we got to talk shop more on the tabletop, because you know your shit.
Yeah.
Join us on a Thursday, Pernell.
Shit.
That requires me to have extra time.
I'm going to go cause
words.
more chaos. I'm going to go. I'm playing a game for Horror Acolyte right now, so I'm going to go get some more horror violence on. Going to go play some more Outlast. So yeah.
The original.
Have a good night.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get to any of the nude scenes too gratuitously on my stream.
I gotta tell you,
yeah.
I gotta tell you, just a general thing. 2 things. One, Outlast it wasn't the first game I reviewed for the show. That was Amnesia, but I pivoted into that from Amnesia. I liked it somehow. Something about it, I don't know what it was, but I played the entire game in one sitting on Easter Sunday.
Oh wow!
The entire game.
That's a very Easter game.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. When you get to a certain point, you're joking maybe, but you get to a certain point and you're like, actually, shit, it is kind of an Eastery game.
Oh, okay. I will look out for that comparison then.
Oh, game's awesome. So good.
All right. Well, you all have a good night. I'll be here on Thursday.
Bye, Bri.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I think Aki just got online too.
Yeah, she's coming into the chat.
Pop up online.
Yeah, probably thought it was 10 p.m. then.
Fun. All right, next game to talk about is Concierge, developed by KODINO, published by Digital Tribe, released September 17th on Steam for $12.99. Concierge is a challenging, suspenseful, non-linear adventure about an old man in an older hotel. Discover your identity and explore your purpose in a surrealistic world of puzzles and trials of every sort. You're on your own, but you are not alone. Dave, what's going on? Concierge.
Well, I love to tell you about that, Joe. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to SML, the Soaking My Legs podcast. We are old, we are swollen, and we need to get wet. Anywho, Concierge is a weird-ass game. You play a guy... Everyone, please. Joe, calm down. Trying to be professional here. For God's sake, is there no decorum
None
here on
at
Twitch?
all.
Concierge, like I said, weird ass game. You play a guy who wakes up in a hotel where there are no other guests, seemingly, or people, seemingly, save for the concierge, a chatty old man who is both cryptic and menacing. You do not know how you got to the hotel or who you are, really. But through the game's many bizarre and abstract puzzles, the other guests and the protagonist's whole deal are revealed. Concierge is kind of a point and click, but with much less emphasis on inventory items and dialogue trees, and much more emphasis on puzzles. Boy, does this game love puzzles. There's an in-game hint system. I'll get up, trust me. We'll be talking more about the puzzles in a minute. There's an in-game hint system that costs in-game money to use, and it also kind of makes fun of you a little bit, which I endorse. But that also doesn't really provide much guidance. The developer has said that the whole point of this game is to force people to kind of explore and figure things out for themselves. And I will say, from experience, the player is gently forced to do just that. At some point, you get a camcorder that exposes hidden elements of the game, which helps quite a bit. The game visually is gorgeous, I have to say. It has this hand-painted kind of impressionistic look to it. There's a lot of attention to detail. Like if you click the cursor on different parts of the game environment, it will produce different sounds. Like if you click on the wall, it's going to sound like you're knocking on a piece of wood. And if you click on a lamp, it sounds like someone's knocking against glass. It's that kind of stuff. The sound design's really good, in other words. There's not a lot of voice acting, but what you get is pretty solid. I don't know if it's professional voice acting, but I will put it to you this way. They sound like they actually want to do it, which is a huge, huge leap from a lot of indie games like this, where everyone doing a voice track sounds like they're doing it at gunpoint in some kind of hostage situation. So, points to Concierge.
So accurate.
Points to Concierge for bucking the trend on that one. It's also, I gotta say, it is nice to see someone trying to make good on all this high-minded bullshit about video games being art. This game deals with art a lot. The hotel you're stuck in is full of paintings, for example. There are pages of a script and journal that you have to piece together that relate to the protagonist in some way. And the game itself feels artisanal in a sense. It has a wider frame of visual and aesthetic reference than a lot of other games like this tend to have, and an impressive depth of thought guiding it, I have to say. That's both good and bad, because, God, Jesus, the puzzle situation is fucking frustrating. There aren't any fuse boxes, I'll give them that much. I did not have to reroute a single fuse box. Which is showing admirable restraint in a point-and-click game. But a game that demands as much unguided exploration as this one does needs more shit to interact with. Randomly clicking around the screen looking for hotspots with no other characters to annoy gets old very fast. There's just there's not enough shit to do. Everything, all the things you interact with are very... they're all very connected to the puzzle you're trying to solve. There's no fun diversions anywhere, which games like this kind of need. Anyway, as you find the hotel's other guests, because there are other guests, they unlock mini games that are mandatory and take way too long to complete. As an example, you find one guest and are immediately kind of launched into a mini game that is a Froggy Jump style platformer. That takes you away from the point and click interface you've been working with up to that point. A, That shit sucks to play with just a mouse. B, it's hard to see what you're doing because there are too many distortion effects on the screen while you're playing. And C, it goes on for like 5 levels. 3 should have been the absolute limit on stuff like that. There are a bunch of different mini games like that, and they all take way too long. Like, it would be one thing if they weren't actively fucking with you and trying to make you make a mistake. But all of them are, which is fine, but like, don't make that go. Like 5 minutes of that is more than enough in a game where that's not the point of playing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the whole minigame thing, it's unfortunate because it takes away from the very arty and surrealist vibe that Concierge cultivates well in basically every other respect. And I do feel a little bad raging at the developer, who seems like a nice person by all accounts, about all the parts of their game that made me feel stupid because I'm a fucking idiot who sucks at video games. Like, that's not his fault. That jumping game bullshit, though, that was your fault. Shame. 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 I don't know if you can hear my cat screaming in the background, but she's also very upset about it.
Unfortunately, no.
It's not just because she's old and very likely going senile.
Hi, Doc.
She has opinions about this game she did have to hear me yelling at it for like an hour the other night, so she's entitled to whatever opinion she may have. Including that I am a fucking idiot and I have no business reviewing video games of any kind.
do any of us, really?
It is, yeah. They were astonished by his doctrine. No, it is an injustice that I get to do this. However, I will keep doing it. I'm a treat boy, and I love the free treats. So I'm easily bought, I suppose.
All right. Well, anything else to say on this one? Or are you ready to give a verdict?
I guess the short version is looks cool, is kind of a pain in the ass to play, might actually be worth it.
All right, $13. What's your official verdict?
We're at 13?
Yep, $12.99.
That's not bad. That is not bad. No. If you like puzzles and you like games that don't give you any help at all, or if they do give you help, it's kind of like sarcastic and biting help. And if you're okay with like being thrown into a game with no context as to who you are or where you are, what you're supposed to do, you're going to love this game. And you should absolutely $12.99 is not a lot I thought it was going to be way more than that. No, I would honestly, full price that one. If you like puzzles, then you're going to fucking love this game. Even with all the mini game stuff, tossed in there, you're still going to have a good time. Because it does. Again, I cannot stress enough. It is a very cool looking game, and there is a lot of there's a lot of admirable sort of creative drive and ambition behind this thing. And I always like to encourage game developers to do more shit like this. Just, no more Froggy Jump.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, $12.99 is not bad. So I would say go ahead and just buy it.
Very good. All right, Dave. Thank you, as always, for joining. We will let you get going.
Very good.
Any final thoughts, final words?
Yes.
There's a lady in the men's bathroom. There is a woman in the men's John right here in Baltimore.
Well, I guess the only thing I could say to that is...
I'll fucking kill you!
But...
El Dandy's still in there!
All right. Moving on. Next game, Shujinkou, developed and published by Rice Games, released February 13th, PS4, PS5, and Steam for $59.99. Latest update hit August 25th, and it is hitting Switch in just a couple of days. Shujinkou is a story-driven, turn-based dungeon crawler that provides players with the option to learn Japanese as they play. Play through an enthralling 80-hour story campaign as Shujinkou. Get it? Like the title. in a fight to save the world from the Akuma. Pernell, you check this one out along with Aki, who's finally here.
I've been here the whole time. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. How was Hotel Barcelona?
It was great.
Okay. Tell us, what's going on in Shujinkou?
Aki.
All right. In this,
Wake up.
I was wondering if you wanted to take it, and before I could ask, you said something. So in this, you're playing as a young samurai and his friends and extra people, who have suddenly started being attacked by yokai, which are different types of monsters. Some of them are straight up demons, which are oni. And you have decided you're going to go around figuring out why they've suddenly appeared, and you're going to wipe them all out and protect your little homeland, because they are some dangerous little bastards. And the three of you start doing that by finding these little orbs that give you extra powers. Basically, they allow your weapons become elemental weapons. And with each one of these orbs, there's a tiny bit there's a syllable, we'll say, in it. So, like gi is a symbol in Japanese writing, and that's one of them. Ka, ah, u, things like that. And you use those to attack the enemies with. Every character can be equipped one of them that you find. Think they're able to equip 5 in total each, but they can't be copies of each other. So if one of the 3 characters have gi, none of the others can have gi. And you use those attacks to spell out the enemies' names. If you actually have all the pieces anyways. Hopefully you do. And when you hit a part of its name, there's a bunch of little question marks under the name. You actually know what their name is. So there's a bunch of little question marks. And when you hit one of the pieces that spell their name, it fills it in with the Japanese symbol. And it does extra damage to them. Hopefully you can fill the whole name out, in which you get an achievement. I think if you do it to a bunch of different enemies, you also get an achievement. There's also elemental weaknesses that enemies have, which aren't always the same elements that the weapons with their name provide you. So it might be, weak to fire, but its name is spelled with stuff that you get from wind and earth. So it's to make sure everyone has something that they can hurt an enemy with. Even if they aren't necessarily able to spell the name. You go around to different places. There's a whole bunch of different dungeons that you can visit. Inside the dungeons, there's a whole bunch of different resources that you can collect that refill. Once you go locations, it fills out a mini map for you, and you can see where all the resources are, and they'll turn black when they actually have resources. After you claim them, they're white, or maybe it's the other way, I can't remember. So they refill every day in the morning, so you can go around and collect everything and then just keep redoing that once it hits morning, which is really nice. Enemy battles, most of them are randomized based on a thing that fills up that's on the side of the screen. It fills up with a color, and then the color gets brighter, and then you're put in a fight. It kind of seems randomized how quickly that thing fills up properly, so I don't know what necessarily determines how quickly you're going to get in fights, because sometimes I'm like, I would like to get in more fights, and there's no real way for me to change that. It's a cute little game. You get side quests when you're in town. There's little boards that you can look at, and they get filled with stuff even in towns that you haven't been to in a while, so it's always good to go back and check them all. Some of the quests, little side quests, are timed, so you have to do them before you finish X, Y, and Z in the main story. And Pernell, anything on your end?
Well, I primarily did much with the demo, but I will say the demo itself gives you a lot to play with. More than one dungeon and like at least 20 hours of gameplay or so, which is a good thing if you're looking for bang for your non-buck. But I feel as though the thing that I enjoyed most about this game was the usage of the syllable system, because of the fact that it does a good job. Well, before I even go into the syllable system, I'll go with the overall arching concept that the game was designed with the intent to both be a fantastic dungeon crawler, but also be a vehicle with which to educate players on Japanese, the language, and in some respects, the culture. None of which is forced on you if you don't want it. You can totally go into this just like willy-nilly and be still having a great time. But there's something to be said about the fact that the weakness system lies in you getting the characters that can be used to spell the monsters' names, because the story involves like language being stolen. So you're using the language to put the language back and wreck shop on these monsters. So you might find yourself going through a dungeon, come across another series of these characters, and let's say, for example, earlier in the dungeon, you may have come across a rabbit. In Japanese, a rabbit is usagi. So if you know that, whether through the knowledge of watching tons of anime or being familiar with Japanese, or just going into the information pool after beating them for the first time and looking at the monster bestiary, you'll see that, and you might get a character that's like Gi, like G-I. You know immediately, holy crap, I can equip that right now and start doing damage, extra damage to, the Usagi monsters if I come across them in the dungeon again. There is a surprisingly addictive quality to that. And the game also makes it possible if you find yourself being like, let me phrase that. You will find it that you have a lot of these at some point. The game sets it up so that you can do a sort of hot swap of sets of these characters, so that you might find yourself coming into a battle, go, okay, I have 2 for this guy, but I don't have all of them for this monster. I'm going to spend a turn to swap out my katakane sets to come in on the next round and hit the weaknesses that way. And if you luck out sometimes in getting the character combo with the elemental weakness as well, you do exponentially more damage that way. And that's also a very satisfying thing to come across. So that's my general add-on to this. I feel as though the Japanese mechanics and systems that they put into place in this game do a great job, both in kind of passively teaching you things, but also it makes a great gameplay mechanic in the event that you don't even care about that.
All right. Any other comments? Bri? Bri. Aki, any other comments on your end? Been a long night.
In it, with the resources that you collect, I forgot to mention this, you can actually build weapons and stuff as well from your brother's shop, because he's a smith. That's what he does. And armors as well. There's different pieces of armor, like head, chest, skirt, legs, stuff like that. So it's always fun to go kill things and gather resources. That's basically it. Because I'm not telling y'all anything about the story. Y'all need to play it if you want that.
All right, well, let's talk price on this one. On Steam, as of right now, it is a $59.99 game. It's on sale until October 6th for $44.99. On Switch, when it releases, it will be sold piecemeal with the base game at, I believe, $29.99, and the other chapters purchased separately for $60 on Steam and PlayStation. What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's totally worth buying, especially if you've ever been interested in learning Japanese. I don't know how easy it's going to be to learn it from this game, but it's a hell of a lot easier than just watching anime. So, I think it's totally worth buying. I think it's a fun little game.
Pernell, thoughts?
Well, I'm probably going to buying it at some point myself. I'm just being a cheap ass right now, so I think just by virtue of that alone, I'm going to give it a buy.
Works for me. Next up, Folly of the Wizards, developed by Upfox Labs, published by Numskull Games, released September 19th, Series X and S, Switch, PS5, and PC for $29.99. Folly of the Wizards is a comedic 2D roguelike action game that puts you in the shoes of a clumsy wizard apprentice, join a wacky wizard cult, and use unique spells to defeat enemies, explore procedurally generated dungeons, and save the world from chaos. But beware, the fate of the world rests on your shoulders, and even the smallest decision can have a huge impact. With charming hand-drawn art, quirky characters, and unpredictable gameplay, Folly of the Wizards is the perfect adventure for anyone who loves humor, magic, and mayhem. Horror Acolyte, do you love humor, magic, and or mayhem?
I do like most of those things, yes.
Cool. How's the game?
So, in Folly of the Wizards, the general backstory to this, which, well, there isn't too much of a story in this game, in my opinion, but you have these demons that attack the world under the guidance of an entity known as Balshor, and the people of the land pay wizards to banish these demons. Then, after many years, this war rages on, and the wizards finally win, and they usher in an era of peace. And then, hundreds of years later, the demons come back. But all the wizards that fought in the wars are pretty much all too old now, and the only line of defense against them are these fledgling wizard apprentices. And this is where you come in. So the game starts out with an optional tutorial section. You're given a tutorial by this wizard known as Galagos, the wizard trainer, and he teaches you pretty much the basic mechanics of the game. Becomes like a typical action platforming roguelike. With twin stick controls for firing magical attacks from your wand or whatever implement you use to cast magic spells. You also get like a double jump and a dash that gives you invincibility frames. So that's pretty much like the basic movement mechanics of the game. Where this game differs from other games in the genre is its kind of magic system. You find scrolls in the dungeons to change your elemental attacks. You have some basic ones to start, fire, water, earth, and lightning. And then later on, you can balance the different elements to unlock new elements, like dark, poison, smoke, or arcane attacks. When you fire projectiles from your wand, they will change based on how many scrolls you've acquired of a particular element. So if you picked up 4 fire scrolls and 1 water scroll, every 5 attacks you'll have 4 fire projectiles and 1 water-based projectile. Enemies in the game have different strengths and weaknesses, so it's good to be somewhat mindful of what elements you're picking up throughout the levels, especially if you're having trouble with specific enemies. Relics can be found in the game. These are items that enhance your main attacks or grant you additional bonuses to your character. Some change the style of your attack altogether, like switching from a straight projectile to more like a lobbed projectile, or to speed up your rate of fire for your attacks. So there's some odd relics like this, that such as an ice cream cone that shoots globs of ice cream, or this pet stick that summons multiple spirit fish type heads that shoot fireballs. You also get stuff like roller skates to make you move faster, this hamburger helmet that gives you extra health points, or magical light bulbs that float around the arena, shocking enemies for you. So you can stack multiples of certain items for additional effects. One run, for example, I had a bunch of health-giving items that made it so my heart points for my health were pretty much like extended off the screen of the game, it looked like. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know if it actually was technically, but it looked like it was. Then lastly, there's kind of this magic tome you get. You can have 1 tome equipped at a time, and this counts as kind of like an extra powerful attack. You get to use a spell that needs to recharge by killing enemies. And some of these like are shooting powerful beams of light, or summoning a creature from another dimension to spray a caustic cloud into the air. At the beginning of the game, you only get 1 character to start. There's 4 characters total. They'll vary by damage output, speed, and health. The first character that you get, Laura, I believe is the name, described as probably the worst student the Wizard Cult has ever seen, but they have a big heart. This character has average stats for health, attack, power, and speed. I'm not sure what triggers the unlocks for the other characters, But I did unlock 2 of the other characters pretty early on, and I have no idea how to unlock the 4th character. So the other 2 ones I got unlocked were Bakura. They're like a glass cannon. They only have 1 health point, but they have higher damage output and speed. And then Balwin, who's pretty much a tank with low damage output. And they have the shoot energy orbs from this little cactus one that they have. They look like a mummy. It's kind of funny. But yeah, as I mentioned previously, this game is more of a roguelike as opposed to a roguelite, as there's no permanent stat upgrades to unlock or progression to make each run. The closest you get to that is you complete quests to unlock more items that you can find in later runs. Most of the quests are pretty straightforward, killing certain bosses, visiting locations a certain number of times, or building relationships with certain NPC characters. And just because like you're unlocking these items, like not all of them are going to be ones you're going to want to use. I found there's like a handful of specific items that I kind of sought to find throughout the levels, but I'll get more into that in a second. There are a handful of NPCs you'll meet throughout the levels. Your affinity or relationship level with these characters will change depending on how you interact with them and what items you find throughout your journey. In turn, your relationships with these characters can influence numerous factors, the maps you can potentially visit, the relics you find in the dungeons, the bosses you fight, and potentially the ending of the game as well. So starting your run, you choose one of your characters and you spawn into a random location. There's a number of different areas to visit. There's deserts, forests, area called the Lost Market, or even Hell. Each area has their own distinct enemy sets. You go from room to room, disposing of set number of enemies per room that spawn in. You clear room to access new ones. You can break pots to get coins or keys. Enemies can also drop items on death, like coins, health, keys, magic scrolls, or even relics. Occasionally a chest will spawn in once you clear a room, which can also contain an assortment of items. You do have the option to backtrack to previous rooms in the current region that you're in. But once you've left that area, you can't backtrack to previous regions. So make sure you collect everything you want right away. This also does give you the option, so say if your health is full and a health pickup drops, you can come back at a later time to procure that health pickup if you haven't taken damage yet and take damage later on before you fight the boss. The goal of each area is to find the boss and defeat them. Killing a boss spawns a giant loot chest and also 3 portals to choose from, and that'll help you to kind of cycle to where you want to go to next. The different types of enemies in this game, there's like plants that hang on walls and shoot at you, samurai that try to dash at you with high-speed blade attacks, fluffy clouds firing corrosive balls of acid. Most of the enemies in this game are pretty fantastical in nature. You can't really tell exactly what a lot of them are, so it's kind of up to your interpretation. A lot of them look like kind of like spirit type things you'd see in a fantasy epic or like an anime, like a Hayao Miyazaki kind of thing, maybe. So some of the bosses, for example, there's like Raz, this frozen dinosaur that's like shoots blue flames and has like a shockwave attack. Or a shaman cat who summons giant toy balls that bounce around the arena, or smaller balls that as projectiles that get shot at you. The coins you find in each region as drops are used to buy from a character called Larn the Merchant, who spawns in to each area and has 3 items for you to choose from that you can purchase. The only other item that's able to be purchased really is a singular heart before fighting the final boss. And also there's like a imaginary friend character. I didn't get them that many times, but you do have the option to give them money to potentially get items as well at random. From the main menu screen, you can view your monster encyclopedia of monsters you've previously encountered and see their strengths and weaknesses. There's also the option to look at the relics you've unlocked and see the different types of relationship affinities you need to increase the chances of that item spawning. And you can also look at all the available quests in the game. There's 92 quests total. I don't think you can unlock any more than that. And it also gives you like a picture of what the reward is for those, but I don't think you can view an item description for the items that unlock. But there's definitely some balancing issues in this game, in my opinion. The pet stick I kind of mentioned earlier is OP as fuck in this game. Essentially, you can just like hold the right fire trigger, and like the minions will just keep spawning in for you and shooting projectiles directly at the enemy, and that gives you time to just like focus on dodging shit. So you're just like holding that button down and just running around the arena dodging. Don't have to worry about attacking the enemy yourself. Every run I got the pet stick pretty much turned into a victory run. There's some a few mildly crazy combinations of items. Sometimes I couldn't tell what was going on with the items I was picking up. Like, I'll just pick stuff up and have a brief description, and I'll be like, oh, this probably helps me, so I'll just grab it, and then I wouldn't be able to tell exactly what it was doing. And more than that, in just a moment with one of the glitches I guess I ran into. As I kind of mentioned, there was like the health bar that extended past the screen. So yeah, some pretty wild combinations. There wasn't an overwhelming number of them, at least that I found. And I did run into a number of glitches. There was a couple instances when I would talk to a character in the dungeon, and then their text box would appear every time I interacted with something in that dungeon, including switching rooms. So I'd have to like keep scrolling through that each time, and that got really annoying. There's a button when you click on the start or pause menu. It'll say toggle item descriptions during a run, and like for me that didn't really do anything some of the time. So I don't know if that was just broken or what's going on there. And the last one I ran into was sometimes when you kill a boss, if they were about to spawn one of their moves in or like start using one of their moves, it would keep spamming that move after they were dead. So sometimes you like wouldn't be able to collect the chest loot or even switch to the next area without taking more damage. And for like the one character I mentioned, for example, with 1 health, like that's almost like a death sentence. Like you just lose at that point. So I did like the art style in this game, especially for some of the enemies. That was pretty much the only thing I liked about it, other than maybe a couple of the item combinations. But the level design was really basic. The general gameplay loop was a passable experience, but ultimately felt extremely mundane, at least for myself. For a game with so many items, I didn't feel like there was much of a variety in character builds or combinations that would change up how I played the game, other than a couple items I mentioned that just seemed too good on their own, like the pet stick, or multiples of other pickups like the light bulb minions and health enhancing items. There are at least 7 different endings to get, of which I got 4. There was nothing exciting enough to make me want to replay the game again to learn more about the lore. It's unfortunate because I think I can see like the vision the devs had for this game, but for me, it like just didn't come to fruition in a manner that differentiates itself enough from other games in the genre.
No, that's a bummer. This one was on my wish list. I was looking forward to it. But $30, what's your official verdict?
I think $30 for them was a bold price point for this. I feel like there's so many good games in this genre, and especially cheaper ones, that this is just too mundane to like even recommend. I would give it a hard pass at that price. If it goes on like a deep discount, like if you're really itching to play a new rogue-like game, then like maybe, but it would have to be like pretty substantial discount.
All right.
Yeah, pretty much a pass for me.
All right, up next, Assassin's Creed Shadows Claws of Awaji DLC, developed, published, and provided to us by Ubisoft, released September 16th as DLC for Assassin's Creed Shadows for $24.99. If you pre-ordered the game, you have it. It was the pre-order bonus. Embark on a completely new adventure and travel to the mysterious island of Awaji beyond Osaka Bay. While scouring this new region, seeking to reclaim a lost treasure, you are hunted relentlessly by deadly new foes. Securing the object and Japan's future won't be easy, with all the traps and ambushes putting you at risk. Aki, I know the wall to get into this DLC is pretty brutal. What's going on with this?
Okay, so first and foremost, this isn't DLC you're going to be touching until you beat the game. So, hop to it, people, because this is a long fucking game.
It's not just beating the game, right?
You have to get proper like end credits. Beat game.
Plus, you got to get all the targets and the epilogue.
That's part of beating the game, though. Thankfully,
okay. I'm just going off of what my email says.
At least I assume you get the epilogue after you beat the game. But killing all the targets is something that is required for the end game. So, in Assassin's Creed Shadows, unlike lots of the other ones, you actually have to go out and find the targets. And this spills over into the DLC, that's why I'm bringing it up. Which means you actually have to go to all the different little places and find hints and information about these people. Sometimes you end up finding some of the people that work under them, and killing them will allow you some extra clues so you can find them. This will probably remind you a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, because they had a similar mechanic in their own game, except for this one's a lot harder. So you're going to be looking in a lot of different places for all these things. So both the main game and this can take a little bit of time, just going to all the different places, finding whatever information you can, and then heading to those places. They have added a whole new area. It's not huge, but it is decently sized, which is the islands of Awaji. And in between all these areas, you're gonna get into a lot more ambushes than you did in the main game, because all the enemies are a hell of a lot more aggressive in this. Like, significantly so. They also start looking at you like, oh, maybe that person's a problem, a lot more severely than in the base game. Like, you might be walking around in a marketplace, and guards might see you and be like, something seems fucky-wucky about that person. Guess we gotta go kill him, and then rush you, instead of being like, they might seem a little fishy, but they haven't done anything wrong, so we'll leave them alone, I guess. Which you'd find in the main game. Enemies are a lot more aggressive, so they aren't as willing to wait one at a time. They do run forward, and they're really there. They're there to kill you. They're not to. You're not there to practice your weapons with them. You're there to. You're gonna have to actually fight. They introduced a brand new weapon, which is, I actually really like the new weapon. It's a bow staff. It's good both long and short range. It's really cool. Basically, it's just a staff, in case some of you don't know what a bow staff is for some reason. And it's
Donatello's
really cool.
weapon. Come on, people.
Yeah. And yeah, it's really fun. It's surprisingly quick. It has really good range. I actually really like it. It gets its own new upgrade tree as well. So you can get all the different abilities and stuff for it. And there are obviously new knowledge points and stuff that you can find in the DLC to help you get points to put into these new weapons. Yeah, there's 3 major bosses in this one. And they are decently split between who you realistically should be using to kill them. Like, there's a big bruiser who is clearly there for Yosuke to get into a, no hold bar, just punch out with. And then there's straight up, there is a stealth battle in this game that I really like, and it really reminded me of a game I just recently reviewed, Metal Gear Solid Delta, the fight with the End, which is the sniper. There's a fight in here that's a lot like that, where you're hiding in tall grass, moving around slowly, dodging under traps and stuff to sneak up behind this enemy who's shooting you from afar and stabbing them many, many times with your blade. It was really cool. I really like that. So, yeah. Enemies are more about ambushing you when you're traveling in between areas. And they do it constantly. And it's not extremely annoying at all. No, totally not. Nope. So, yeah. You get some new gear, some new weapons, obviously. They're okay. Everything is kind of randomized when you open chests and stuff, so it's not like you're like, oh, I'm gonna get this amazing thing from this chest. Well, there are some chests that give you legendary items, but their stats and what they are is kind of up in the air. Right now I don't even use legendary weapons, and I have a few of them because they're not as good as the non-legendary gear that I have. So, yeah, I believe some upgrades were made to your ability to upgrade weapons and stuff, but I didn't really fiddle with any of that because it just didn't matter at that point in the game for me.
And you were just playing with the bow.
I was playing a lot with the bow, but I also used some of the base weapons just because
Jacob plays with his bow all the time.
Yes, he does. That's why he's always in the bathroom. And the whole story part of this is the Templars haven't been gotten rid of. You're wanting to help get rid of them, and you're also getting information from your mother in this section, which I don't think she really at all. I don't think she shows up a single time in the main game, actually. So, you get to meet some new characters and stuff. It's really nice. It's kind of more of the same old. So if you're like, Assassin's Creed Shadows didn't really jive with me, this isn't going to change your opinion, I don't think, unless you really, really like the bow staff. But if you got to the point where you can play this, you probably are going to enjoy this DLC, realistically speaking, because you've already spent like 100 and something hours in the base game beating it. So yeah, I think for the people who can actually play this right now, this is probably definitely going to be for you. If you're like, I have to beat the game, probably not for you.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you didn't pre-order the game, it's $25. What do you think?
It's a decently sized map. I think that's kind of fair. Yeah, I say go for it. I think it's better if you've pre-ordered the game, though, for obvious reasons.
That's a big reason why I did pre-order this one. Everyone's like, never pre-order. I'm like, dude, you're getting a fucking expansion. Of course I'll pre-order this one.
Yeah, I'm usually not for pre-ordering stuff, but if you're going to pre-order a game, it should be something like Assassin's Creed. It's a known quality. You know what you're getting. Like, if you like Assassin's Creed, you're probably going to like the next one. It just is what it is.
Yeah, in my head, if it's something you're going to get anyway, and it has a cool bonus or a discount, pre-order it. Like the Monster Hunter Stories 1 and 2 coming out on Xbox in October, November, whatever it is.
November.
Like 35-40% discount if you pre-order.
Yeah, that's when stuff like that's happening, totally worth it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like telling people to pre-order stuff when they get some extra stuff in it, though, because I don't want to support that practice. I want that practice to go away.
All right, next up, Alphadia 3, developed by EXE-CREATE, published by KEMCO, released September 20th, Xbox One, Series X and S, Xbox PC, and Switch for $19.99. Before Alphadia 1, the world was torn by the energy war, fueled by humanity's lust for life energy. In the midst of it, an energy clone named Alfonso begins to question everything. With nothing but his doubts and determination, he sets off on a journey to uncover meaning in a world consumed by power. What truth awaits at the end of his path? Chris, seems like this is a prequel despite being number 3.
Yeah, which, that's not unheard of in the JRPG realm.
Very true.
Especially what with Dragon Quest 1 and 2 coming out pretty soon. So, that's slots in perfectly with that. Alphadia 3, this is a prequel, sequel to the other games. This one kind of starts the story off as far as that goes. I think that it does anyway, because Alphadia Genesis is supposed to take place after the Energy Wars, and this is supposed to take place smack dab in the middle of them. So I believe chronologically this is the first game in the series, although we have yet to see Alphadia 4 or 5 come out over in the US, so who knows.
Do they exist?
Yeah, this game came out in 2009 originally on mobile in Japan, and Alphadia 4 and 5 both came out in their respective 2010 and 2011, also on mobile. They just haven't come to the US yet. So yeah, this is actually a 16-year-old game at this point. But like the Alphadia 1 and 2, 2-pack that came out just a little while ago. We covered it on this show. This one is polished over with a nice smooth frame rate. Works really well. There's some quality of life that's been introduced. Of course, not owning a Japanese mobile phone, I can't tell you what all that was that they've added since the original release, but it definitely if you didn't know that this was a 16-year-old game, you'd think, oh, this is a new one from EXE-CREATE, because you can kind of tell sometimes when their games are newer versus older. But yeah, like I said, this takes place story-wise before Alphadia 1 and 2, and before Alphadia Genesis 1 and 2, and probably before Alphadia Neo. I don't really remember where that one fits in, but the reason why
the Alphadia extended universe is getting really complex.
Yeah, but luckily there's not a whole lot left. Like, the newest original story was Alphadia Neo, and that came out like 3 years ago, and they've only been re-releasing them since then, and Genesis is only up to 2, and the main series is up to 5, so that's not as complex as, I don't know, Trails. So, we have much more complicated series as far as that goes, especially with timelines and different casts and stuff. The one thing that ties all the Alphadias together is the energy clone known as Enna, who is a character that was introduced in the first game and has been in every game since. So she is indeed in this one, and this is kind of like her origin story, although it's not as much of a surprise, because this is a world where energy clones exist, and that's your main character is Alfonso. He's also that. And plot-wise, that just means that, okay, so in the world of Alphadia, the energy wars are where the kingdom of Schwarzschild and some other kingdoms are at war, and their big thing is that they employ a thing called energy cloning, which is to say making essentially super soldiers out of energy, which energy spelled with an I at the end, by the way. This is a specific thing in the Alphadia universe, is a special kind of power that can be molded into like physical shapes. And so, yeah, these are people in every way. Medically, they're human beings, but because they were created with energy, they have a higher, they're programmable, and they have like, better, physicality than humans, and therefore are used as war machines, essentially programmable like living robots. And we know this because from the start of the series, because that's what Enna is, and she's, her story is explored in many of the games. And in this one, this is where we kind of meet her. You essentially get to meet her mother. You get to meet who she was cloned from at the beginning of the game, and that's Alfonso's best friend, who we'll let the plot take care of that. There's a lot of plot in this game. I actually counted. It's 9.5 minutes of uninterrupted dialogue before you get to start playing the game. So that's quite a lot for like a game like this. But yeah, you play as the humans Tart and Folk, who are two resistance fighters who basically befriend these energy clones because their friend kind of escapes and decides that he wants to be independent of his creation and programming. And then, of course, he meets a bad end, and his friends are Alfonso. And then, like I said, you meet Enna a little bit later, but he kind of ties everybody together, and, then you go adventuring without him, basically. That's okay to say, because that's within like the first few lines of dialogue in the plot, so I'm not revealing anything spoilery. But yeah, so that gets you your 4 characters, at least initially, for the quest, and I won't say anything else about that. It is the usual gameplay loop that any of the EXE-CREATE games have, especially the Alphadia series, where you basically go from town to dungeon to town to dungeon, and you you're basically on a journey, and in the towns that you do things like upgrade your equipment and take on subquests. You can trade these subquests for extra items. And there are 3 kinds of currency in this game. There's regular money, which you use to buy stuff. There's energy crystals, which you can use to trade for different accessories. And the accessories basically determine what kind of magic your characters can use. So your character will have a base element. So Alfonso is fire, for instance. And if you purchase a water ring, and it's like a water ring, let's say a gamma, or I don't remember my Greek letters anymore, but like the beginner water ring, then he can basically gain water levels and skills up to level 10 out of 99. And then, as long as he's wearing that ring, he'll be able to use those water spells too. But you can also learn other spells, like by equipping other rings. And so that gives you a little bit of customization over your characters. So like I said, you can exchange energy crystals for them, and energy crystals are things that you can get both by winning them, getting them in treasure chests, or there's actually a system in this game, and I think this is a new one, called the Energy Croc. This is all sounding like a bit of a crock, but the Energy Croc is just an exchange system. It's a thing that you can put all of your unneeded items and equipment in, and you get points for them, and when you get enough points, you get another energy crystal. So it's kind of just a roundabout way of exchanging your old gear for new gear. But since energy crystals get you much rarer stuff and are harder to come by, that's a little bit better than just straight up trading them for money. And that's pretty cool. There also, of course, are comet points, which are for a few different lottery systems kind of thing. But you can also straight up exchange them for regular, for these really nice items, either really, really mega good healing items or accessories that give you like a whole lot of good stuff. Or you can, get a treasure storehouse key. So each town has a storehouse in it, and if you get a key for that storehouse, you can take the items, and they're usually really good items for what's available in the game up to that point. But you can even get, like I said, some high-end accessories just simply through exchanging. You can also do forging, which again is a lottery system, but it at least shows you the items that you can potentially get, and there's a limit. So that is to say, you won't just get keep getting items you don't need or redundant items. It'll actually take them out of the pool once you get them. So that's kind of a nice thing. Then there's a roulette card, which you get roulette cards for. I think they're on a timer, but the game's not clear about that. And there's also a secret room, which is different functionalities of the game that you can get, like a permanent experience buff and things like that. You can get those just by exchanging these items if you don't want to do any of the other stuff. I did, because I started off with 100. I decided to use the forging right away to try and pick out one item. And my very, very first item was a level 5 ultra rare accessory, which, nice. It gives you the ability to learn all elementals up to rank 99. So basically all spells are available to unlock. And so I gave that to Enna, and now she's like a mega mage. You can also purchase that item. So it's not exactly like it's, impossible to get, but it was a nice score for the first try. It was within 2 minutes of actually starting the game. So there's those systems, like I said. But apart from that, it's pretty standard. Like I said, you walk around, you fight enemies, you learn skills that are unique to your character, and also spells that are specific to what kind of element you're working on, and that is exactly like the other Alphadia games as far as that goes. This one really doesn't have a whole lot to stand it apart from the story, which I think is very good. I like the Alphadia story a lot because it's all about finding humanity, and you kind of get to see where the journey starts for some of the series for at least one of the series' most important characters. So that's a pretty good one, and because I like Enna, she's pretty cool. And that's it.
All right. Clock's in at $20. What do you think of Alphadia 3?
Well, of course, that's a higher price than what they used to be, but, everything else is going up nowadays. So, yeah, I'd say that Alphadia it's one of those things where it's like, if you've played KEMCO EXE-CREATE RPGs by now, you kind of know what you're getting into here. Yeah. This one is worth it by the amount of work that it looks like went into it, because this definitely doesn't feel like a 2009 EXE-CREATE game. I had to double check the date to make sure, in fact, myself. So I'd say it's worth a buy. $20, the Switch is not starving for RPGs. You do have your pick of the litter, but if you are interested in the EXE-CREATE games or the Alphadia games in general, then this is one of the ones that's a must-have, so go ahead and get it.
Very good. And for the Space Conscious, it's only 423 megaborks on the Switch and Switch 2.
And it does have purchasable extras as well. Even though you can buy the extra experience and whatnot through in-game money, you can also buy it through your real wallet if you are impatient about that.
Yeah. Good old KEMCO cheap purchases.
Yeah. But those are available for this one. There's a double and a triple, actually, I think. And I think you can stack them.
A double experience and ENP. And then there's a triple ENP, and then a triple experience, and then a damage times 2.
I gotcha. And there's also those available in the game, and I kind of wonder if those... They say they stack, so I guess you can just really steamroll this game if you got the money.
Yeah. All right, next up, Super Farming Boy, developed by LemonChili Soft, published by Renxo Europe Limited, released August 12th on Steam for $12.99, and it is on sale until October 6th for 20% off, so jump on it. Your farm is under attack, fly, harvest, and grow crops, and whack enemies with your shape-shifting one-button superpowers as you seek revenge from your evil nemesis, Corpo, who has captured your mom and friends. An action puzzle farming sim featuring chain reactions and combos. Pernell and Andy, both of you check this out. Who wants to start?
Go for it, Pernell.
Beat you.
Aha! Oh no, dude. Oh no, I got so many games. I think you skipped one too. You skipped Jamboy.
Oh no, dude.
I shifted Jamboy. I shifted it down to space it out.
That was
I had no idea. Well, I was just gonna comment on whatever Pernell said, but I can tell you about it.
What's Super Farming Boy?
No, don't worry. Too late. You guys lost.
Aki, tell us what is Super Farming Boy?
Aki's like, you're a boy.
And you play a boy who farms, and he's real fucking good at it. That's why it's Super Farming Boy.
You never played it. That's not what happens.
Disagree.
Busted.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can talk about it. I actually was played this one back last December. I was on vacation and I found an Xbox One in the hotel I was staying at, and going through their list of games, hacked into the online system and found Super Farming Boy. It was like a demo at the time too, and I downloaded it and played it for a couple of hours while I was on vacation, which was really cool, and I was hooked. And then I got in contact with the developers, and I've been in contact ever since. I'm actually doing a little giveaway for the game as well too, over this week. But
where are you doing that? Pimp yourself.
I'm trying to. Yeah. Twitch, Sperry Bear Crunch, and the one we don't talk about, Twitter. But anyway. but yeah, no, basically you are a farmer. You've got a group of little friends. You've got like they're all like creatures. So like one's a watering can that goes around, like waters the crops for you. One's like a crab that cuts down grasses. One I think is like a little snail that will like collect things for you, right?
Yeah, and, he takes all the money and your droppables.
Yeah. He picks up all the little collectibles. But the game kind of starts off, you have this like perfect little farm, you're hanging out with your friends, just pulling radishes and carrots and corn and all kinds of stuff. Everything I gotta add to, like everything in the game like kind of has a what's the terminology? Pernell, help me out on this one. Like you pull one thing, it's like a triggered event, basically.
I thought you were talking about the animation style. No, it's a combo system.
Yeah, it's got a combo system. So you're going through the combo system. So like you'll set up like corn. Corn always, like when you pull one, it always pulls them to the right. And so you want to pull one on the far left, so it'll like pull all the ones going to the right, so you get a bigger combo. And then each vegetable, each fruit, everything you've got has its own combo system. And so the idea of the game is to set up crops in your farm so that they all make this huge combo. But the game starts off, you have a perfect farm, everything's going good for you, you start harvesting crops, you kind of get like the lay of the land. And then, as you said, Joe, Corpo shows up, he takes all your crops, takes all your money, takes all your friends too. Big corporation, dude, just like in real life. And leaves you with no powers, leaves you with no friends, puts a huge price tag on all your powers and all your friends.
He does give you a coin. He gives you a coin.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
You dry.
He doesn't leave you dry. You gotta be able to buy something, right? So yeah, he does give you a coin. My bad. He's not all bad. He's not 100% bad. But so he puts a huge price tag on all your friends, and you got to get them back. And I think the main goal of the game is to get your mom back, and you have to get some kind of special currency to do that. But day one kicks off, right? And you're sad, and you have no more crops. I think you have a couple little corn plants like bopping around, You have to chase after and grab them and plant them, But your farm now is full of rocks and shells and twigs and leaves, and it's not perfectly like nothing is really able to be planted, in areas. So you have to then go and pick up shells and pick up rocks and pick up leaves and everything like that, so that when you go to sleep that night, you can sell them to Corpo, and he'll give you a little bit of money, and then you can use that money to buy more crops, which you plant, and then you pick those, and then you sell those, and it's kind of this ongoing cycle of that too, until you get some powers back, get some upgrades, and then everything is kind of based on a stamina bar too. So you can only pick so many crops during the day before you get tired and you have to rest. There is a way around that though too. You can go to the town, which is just above your farm, and you can purchase food items. The town also offers a bunch of seeds that you can purchase as well. And then there's a couple extra little like bonus areas like in the town too that you need special currency and a certain amount of like logs and things like that to unlock, and build. And those give you special quests or special items and things like that too. But you kind of go through that. The other thing to that too is the more you kind of pull, like the better your combos do, the more money you get. And there's also little kind of like side missions, like, you got to grab 10 rocks, or you got to grab 10 shells, or you have to do a combo that's like more than 100, which is actually really hard until you kind of figure out the system to it. And then once you get a certain amount of combos done, it fills this kind of bonus meter. It's like your super meter. And then once your super meter is filled, you kind of go in this ultra mode, and every crop that you run around grows super fast. So that really helps you kind of pull off these like really huge combos in it. But Pernell, you talk about it too. This is all just off of my head.
So the main thing about this game that throws me for a loop is the fact that it is technically a puzzle farming game, not so much the typical farming game that you see. Like Sperry said, you will spend money to acquire crops, which are I keep forgetting the word. Basically, they're animated crops. They're basic living crops. They hop to your town or to your farm. You plant them. You water them. If you get your watering can powers back, because one thing worth mentioning is, like he said earlier, your powers are stolen. And each night when Corpo comes and haunts your dreams, like Freddy freaking Krueger, you can spend the money after he buys all your crops from you to purchase things, including your actual powers back. and that was what will allow you to do the engagements related to farming. There is a very evil yet addictive aspect to trying to nail down a good combo. And for someone like me, it's doubly challenging because of the fact that in this game, the crops have various properties of their own. As Sperry said earlier, each crop has a certain POW radius where when you pull it, it will release a POW in a different directions, a number of spaces away from the origin point, which will in turn chain and affect other crops, thereby making the combos he mentioned. However, some plants grow during the day, some plants grow at night, some plants grow at perma-night, or dusk night, whatever they call it, and some plants are perennial, which means they'll grow back over time. Others, they're one and dones. The one and dones piss me off. I'm sure there's a reason for it. I haven't figured that out yet. But what that means is that you'll plant these cool combos, and if those combos involve single grows, that means you have to go buy more of them and replace them in your combo chain. Not to also mention there's elements like planting crops in a sequence of 4, a 2x2 grid to make a super crop, which means now that crop has to take damage from the other crops when you pop them, for they can actually become harvestable too. All of this, of course, compounded by the aforementioned stamina system, meaning that if you don't have enough money to buy food to maintain your stamina, or you let the clock run too long, you may have spent an entire day trying to, hoe and plant and water to make a super combo that you'll never actually get to use. And the way the game prevents you from just planting and growing indefinitely, in addition to just having to afford money for stamina food, is that when you get to the latest part of the night, ghostly bastards will show up, haunting your farm. And if they touch you, they immediately knock you out. And of course, Corpo charges you for that, because apparently some mysterious force puts you back in bed at that point. Couldn't be your little jellyfish octopi house. No, it has to be him somehow. But he charges you for that. So screw that guy. The game is stupidly addictive in the idea of making these combos, made doubly so by the fact that the actual work on the farm feels fairly snappy. Everything is relegated to 2 buttons for the most part. One button being to change your tool at the optimal time, being, say, for example, equip your hoe to till the ground. And then the others are primarily context sensitive. So if you walk up to a rock and you've unlocked the hammer, you can just press the button and you're using the hammer. If you're near a plot of grass, you unlock the sickle, it becomes the sickle button. And it's just fantastic in that right. It keeps things, moving forward. You don't have to worry about running out of inventory space like I did in the aforementioned earlier review I did of Story of Season, which is still good, by the way. Just gotta hate inventory management sometimes. This game doesn't have that problem. I like it. And another thing worth mentioning.
Can I add on that real quick?
Of course.
I just wanted to say I love that like single or double button combo that you've got, but it's as good as it is, it's also very aggravating, especially if you're trying to do a sweet combo, and you set up like all these crops, and especially as Pernell said, the ones that like only grow during the night or only grow at once, and I've had so many situations where I go to like dig something out or go to remove a rock or something like that, and I accidentally pull a crop, and then it cuts my combo in half, and then uses all the plants that I've been saving up for the last like 17 days, and it kills me inside a little bit. But yes, setting up those combos is the best part of this game. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I will say one thing. I'm glad you actually said that, because one thing I did learn, but it may be for better or for worse, depending on how you look at it, is that the game, the way the save system works in this game is that, let's say, for example, just like you described, you have this super duper combo, and here we are, spring 14th, and you're ready to pop it, and you screw it up and you drop it halfway. If you just exit the desktop and come back, the game starts you at the beginning of that day. It doesn't save it during it, at least from what I could tell. And the reason I know that, because I became obsessed with trying to get an understanding of a decent shade. Like the easy thing would be to have corn running a straight line, then a tomato, then corn, then a tomato, then corn. just forever. But the problem
Man,
with
you're
that,
making
as you already
Jonathan
know,
Davis work a lot with this. Two
That's
quick
right.
things. First off, thanks to Overmask for the 5th month sub. Always appreciate you being here, hanging out. Enjoy the kitty cats and the emotes and all the fun stuff. And Pernell, I'm guessing you played this on Steam Deck. Did you use touchscreen?
I did not. Now you got me wondering if I should have. I didn't know it had that feature.
Probably would have been easier, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I have a stylus, so I could have probably. But no, I didn't even know that there was a feature available on there.
Oh, there you
But
go.
now you got me wondering. I'll have to try it out later.
Now you know. Yeah, the little GIFs on the Steam page show touch controls, like people.
Like, does it have him like touching a crop when the farm boy's nowhere near it and it still pops it out of the ground?
Touch controls are actually good. Enjoy intuitive touch controls. Drag and drop every item in the game using Steam Deck. Alternatively, play with your favorite Xbox or PlayStation or Bluetooth controller.
Wonder if I'd save stamina by doing that instead of flying, though I'm assuming you're dragging him to do it, which means you'd still have to do the energy bump. But I digress. I will say one more thing we should mention before we cut out of the review to the scoring and all that, is the fact that one thing that's pretty cool is that even though it's still in development, which means there's still things they're going to add, they did an interesting bit with the seasons in this game in that it's not the traditional spring, summer, fall, and winter. Instead, they use things like volcanic season and underwater season, and they come with their own weird gimmicks that are associated with them. Yeah, you might be able to tell yourself like volcanic, like, yeah, that's very much like summer, and that my crops can wilt unexpectedly and stuff like that. But thematically, it works better, and it visually works better too. Like it lends itself that much more to the quirky vibe that comes from everything being like, living, smiling plants bopping around, and your house being a jellyfish person. It's wonderful. They did a very good job with the vibe in this game, and I think it does a good job of selling it.
All right. Well, it is on Steam Early Access right now. Plan to be in early access for about a year or so. Right now it is $12.99. Should people jump in now? Wishlist this? What do you think?
I wanted to add something too, real quick, since you were talking about the seasons. So each season lasts about 15 days, right? And so, as Pernell is saying, like you kind of start off like getting to figure out, like you figure out like what each plant and their combo does, so you can set it up like I need this row of carrots, and then I need tomatoes, and then I need eggplants, to like come back and then circle around. But you like almost learn and almost set up that perfect combo before the entire thing changes. So it's not like a new season's here and you still have the same plants. It's a new season and it's now volcano world, and you have a whole new set of plants to learn, which is as frustrating as it is awesome, because now you can figure out new combos. Your old combo is gone, but the new seasons offer like new extra things to like harvest and other areas to kind of like explore and things like that too. And the other thing I wanted to add too is that I think it was like in the demo build, I encountered a boss, which I don't know if that happened for you, Pernell, because I haven't seen it since, but I think it was kind of an early thing and something they wanted to try out. But reading up on them and talking with the developers, they really want to add these like cool boss fights in the middle of like seasons as well too. And so I got to try one, and it was really fun, really engaging. You're like,
did you have to whack it with the combos?
Well, yeah, you're the one I fought was like a giant octopus kind of thing, and so its arms pop up, and you got to like set up quick combos, and you get like specific plants to do it with too. And it's I don't know. It was really fun. It was really cool. But anyway, I love this game. It's super addictive. I've stayed up way too late playing this game, so I definitely recommend it for sure, dude. I've got almost 20 hours in this game already. So
wow,
yeah.
Well, I'm going to follow that with an easy recommendation. I don't have 20 hours, I can tell you that much, but I could totally see myself getting 20 hours because it is a fun time. It's the only thing that screws me up, which is not a slight on the game, is the fact that I need to get over my issues with single growth crops and just accept that they're part of the perfect combo, as it were.
I'll show you how to do some crazy combos, bro.
I need that. Help me out. I don't need just zigzag corn.
All right, next up, Twinkle.
I would like to point something out real quick. I was right. You're a boy, you're farming, and you're pretty super at it. I'm just saying, I was correct.
He was, and then Corpo said, "No more. You got to become super again."
Fine, Aki. What's your verdict? $12.99. What's your verdict?
I think it's 100% totally worth it. I think it's a really good game.
Okay, there we go.
He starts out as a mediocre farming boy.
Next up, yeah?
Mediocre farming boy!
Do it.
Next up,
Jamboy.
Twinkleby, developed and published by Might and Delight, released September 23rd on Steam for $16.99. Twinkleby is a cozy decoration game where you map out archipelago of floating islands and build dioramas for a society of spacefaring neighbors. Expand your collection, discover antique secrets. Wow, I thought that said unique. Decorate, and when you change your mind, evict everyone and throw their furniture into space. Aki,
all right.
Going on
before we go into the review, hold on a second. You said, what was that? I've never heard it said that way before. Archie, how'd you say that again?
Archipelago? I fucking suck with words. We know this.
Archipelago.
No, you might be right. I'm freaking out over here. I need to go look this up.
Archipelago.
Goat.
Goat. That's a goat.
I hate words. Aki, what is Twinkleby?
Okay, in this, you play as the Hand of God, basically. You are placing down buildings on these little floating islands, and people come there to live. You have to click on the people, see what they want in order to be happy here, and you fill that house with some of that crap. Realistically, you can probably make a very small house and then put just everything everyone wants in it, because it's not like they all need beds or anything, because apparently some of them are happy sleeping while standing up, like robots. I don't know. So yeah, there's a bunch of different size houses you can slowly unlock in the game. That have different floors, different sizes, so on and so forth. There's a whole bunch of different items that you can obtain in the game. There's a shop in the very first island, and as you further through the game, more and more stuff is unlocked. You can own up to 99 items of any item is what you're allowed to buy. You can hold more than that. The game, for some reason, allows you to hold more than that, but it won't let you buy more than that. Because in some islands, there are stuff that's already placed there, and you can remove it, which just adds to your 99 that you already have, which is good, so it's not like you're losing anything. And basically, these people come in by floating ships. They come one at a time, and they're spaced pretty distantly, so you have plenty of time to get whatever you need to appease one person, and then you can focus on the next person solely. Whether that means you want to build 6 different houses or whatnot is up to you, providing the map will allow it. It won't. Just so you're aware, it won't. Some of them want things like, oh, we want it to be nighttime, so you can switch it to nighttime. They might be like, we want stars out, so you fucking put stars out. You're like, there you go. You can't wait for it to naturally turn to night, you little shit. So, poof, it is now nighttime forever here because... I don't know. Some of them want to have couches and food, so you give them a couch and you place some food down. There you go. They're happy. They'll stand and sleep standing up like a robot. It's fine. Some of them want things like, oh, we want some house plants, or we want some big plants outside that we can, sit under and wait for an apple to fall on our head, so we're the next night Newton and stuff. So... It's pretty simple, realistically, because you just click on the person, see what the 2 things they want are, and then solve those 2 things and be like, okay, I'm done. Once you've made all of the people happy, and it does take a little bit for them to actually become happy, because they interact with the thing a few times before their happiness meter is filled out. When they're happy, they drop some coins for you. You pick them up. It fills up a thing. Once you have enough coins, it unlocks a gift, which is a new little item that you have that you only realistically get one of. until typically I found much later in the game where then you can finally buy it. And other than that, you're just waiting for all of them to have all their bars filled up with happiness. Once all of them are happy, they give you map pieces, which allows you to unlock brand new levels that you can't otherwise get to. And when there's at least a couple of them that are happy, it'll unlock the next part of the path, so you can keep going. You don't have to do the extra islands if you don't want to, but there's no reason not to, so hop to it, bitch. And yeah, if you really don't like a person, or maybe they have something that's conflicting, maybe there's someone who likes it to be nighttime and another person who likes it to be daytime or something. I've not come across that, but I presume it's possible. Or maybe you just think this character's aesthetic is just fucking hideous and you don't want it on your island. You can pick up their little bag, because they toss a bag off of the boat when they first arrive into this box. If you pick it up and throw it off the island, it basically evicts the person, and then they run off from wherever they are crying and jump off the end of the island and open a umbrella so they can float down away.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little bad seeing them running away crying, because they do that for an obnoxiously long period of time, and it kind of makes me feel bad. But once they jump off, it is hilarious.
Doo-doo.
Yeah, and yeah, I think it's a pretty cute little game.
All right, $16.99 if you buy it before October 3rd. So in like the next day or two, you could get it for $14.44. But for $17, what's your verdict?
Yeah, I think that's a fine price for this. It's pretty fun. It's good for kids of all ages. So yeah, I'm totally for it.
Jazzy. Next up, Jamboy, a Jelly-cious hero. Developed and published by Nakama Game Studio, released September 25th, Switch and Steam for $7.99. Jamboy and Billy are devoured by a giant, and now they have to escape from its guts. Explore the giant's intestines as you defeat food monsters in this frantic, multi-genre game and go on a stomach-churning adventure. Andy, what is Jamboy?
Thought you'd never get to me, dude. I didn't know you moved it. I've been waiting this whole time, dude. I was like, you skipped it, dude. You skipped it. I don't know when's my turn, dude. Let's see here. Jamboy. Jamboy is a heart-wrenching tale of a young jam jar in search of his long-lost lover, peanut butter container. Not really. Not really, but I honestly did want a sandwich after eating this. Playing this one? I don't know.
Same thing.
Jamboy is actually, I would say, closer to like the Earthworm gym level, cleverly named level 8, if you remember that one, where you explore a crafted world of living food. Some cross between that or that. Do you remember that movie? What's it called? Fantastic Journey, where they shrink down and like travel through that, dude. You know what I'm talking about? Am I just making stuff up? I don't know. Maybe I didn't even play the game at all. I probably just took a lot of mushrooms and ended up like walking through.
Fantastic Journey was a TV series, or was there a movie?
I thought there was a movie.
Movie from 66. Wow, that's old.
Oh yeah,
I saw Inner Space.
I don't know. What's what's that one with Miss Frizzle? Magic School Bus, where they go inside Ralphie and they explore. Yeah, there we go. It's that. It's basically Magic School Bus. Who knows? I mean, I could have just done a bunch of mushrooms and not even played the game and walked through an all-you-can-eat buffet. But no, Jamboy is it's a platformer to its core. I mean, it's what I like to call a 2-button game. You've got jump, you've got slash, pretty easy. It keeps things easy for newcomers, for platform enthusiasts. You know, I love platformers. It's a very simplistic controls. It's got some alternate difficulty settings, some nice sauce appeal, like sex appeal, but sauce appeal. Anyway, not funny. As Jamboy, you'll traverse some hand-drawn levels, which is the art in this game is gorgeous. I love the art in this game. You've got everything from flying cookies, walking gingerbread men, donut cops, evil mushrooms, burgers that are trying to smush you, all kinds of living food items that stand in your way. You use a candy cane is what you start off with, but use a candy cane and its various alternates to deal damage to these food-based enemies and progress further into the game. New weapons are found randomly throughout the levels, and they have a kind of a quick stat signal to let you know if it's a better or worse item than what you currently have. You'll also collect strawberries when your health is low. Those are kind of like hidden throughout the levels as well. Jelly jars equal extra lives. And then you'll have these specific like level-based collectibles to grab as well. So there's 2 main chapters, and in the first chapter you'll collect cassette tapes, and in the second chapter you'll cassette, I think they were pizzas, but I don't know, they were circular objects. I think they were pizza, but you'll, as in typical platforming adventures, you'll avoid spikes, you'll bounce off eyeballs, you'll wall climb. You've got piñatas that you can break open and grab these little kind of bow tie collectibles as well too. You'll complete like basic quest lines, which are usually just like go grab this or go fight that guy, kind of thing. Fetch quests, and once you complete those, you'll get a new hat from characters. Sometimes you'll get like the key to unlock the end of the level. As I said, there's some basic puzzle solving as well. You'll move some items around to traverse spikes, to find more collectibles. There's like warp points that you have to find so that you can get around and take out enemies from behind. Couple little like backtracking sequences, nothing too crazy. The levels aren't huge. You can get through a level pretty quick, but there is a lot of like kind of layers to it, so up and down and everything. There's, as I mentioned before, there's a key in each level that you need to find before moving on. This could be hidden like down in a corner of the level, or an enemy could have picked it up and you have to fight the enemy to grab it. There's 2 main chapters in the game. Each one features about 4 levels and then a boss fight. Boss fights are also pretty easy. They just kind of like do 1 or 2 main attacks. They'll like jump up and then hit the ground, and so you walk under them or you kind of avoid them completely. And then after completing the game, there's a skew of like lost levels that open up as well too, all within the same vein that you've already experienced in the game, just a little more challenging, I would say. No collectibles in that you need to worry about. It's pretty much just get from A to B, and avoid dying. So I'd relate Jamboy to like if you were having a sleepover in the 90s and you wanted to rent a Super Nintendo game, but you wanted to rent something that you could like beat in the night, like Jamboy would be the one. Like I only put about 3.5 hours into this one and I beat it 100%, aside from like a few little achievements, but yeah, I mean, then that way you've got time for a scary movie, that night too. So you're good, dude. But
and kind of like the price of a game rental, it's only $8. What do you think of it?
It's only, I mean, $8. It was enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, it's in my mind, it's kind of a F it, why not? It's got great art. I mean, I really enjoyed that. It's as challenging as you want it to be. I mean, it's got the difficulty rating, so you can go kind of easy mode, or you can do the normal mode where it's challenging. Yeah, I mean, why not? It was fun. I wish there was more to it, because it is actually like pretty enjoyable,
Just short,
but just very short. A very short game.
Well, maybe we'll get Jamboy too. Search for more jam.
I need some DLC, man. Give me that DLC on Jamboy. That's what I want.
All right, next up, Beacon Patrol, which I keep wanting to call Bacon Patrol. Developed by BrutalHack and Shapes and Dreams. Published by SML Entertainment, who are all wondering why I made that bacon joke. Released September 17th on Steam for $11.99. Bacon Patrol is a cooperative and relaxing tile-laying exploration game. You play as captains of the Coast Guard navigating the coast of the North Sea to secure its bacon buoys. lighthouses, and waterways. Work together with your friends to secure or to score points by creating the most complete map. Pernell, what's going on in Bacon Patrol?
So this is an adaptation of the physical board game Beacon Patrol that was published by Pandasaurus. I want to say it was last year. I've eyeballed here and there, just never bit the bullet because crazy and I'm swimming in games. But I've always been curious about, so this was a good opportunity to give it a try. And the best way I can describe it right off the cuff for people who are familiar with board games, it is basically cooperative Dofromantic. If you have no idea what the hell Dofromantic is, that's okay. I'll still explain this anyway. I'd also describe it as a form of cooperative Carcassonne as well. So the thing that both of those two games have in common is they are a tile-laying game, as which this game is as well. The idea behind this is that you are piloting a ship, or if you're playing with more than one person, you're each piloting a ship. There is a repository of tiles, and each tile represents a portion of seascape that you need to place on the board to navigate, rather than to discover and navigate the seas. So on a turn, I'm going to describe it generally from the single player perspective for now, and I'll add in what multiplayer could add to it in a second. So on a turn, you have 3 tiles. Starting from the Coast Guard station, that's where your boat rests, you have the option to place a tile and then immediately move on to that tile of your 3. The rules for placing a tile is that it has to be adjacent to a portion of water that is on your tile. So that tile's water has to touch your tile's water so that your boat, can float on top of it. The second thing is it has to apply to every other placement rule available. So if there is a landmass adjacent to where your tile is going to go, it cannot be placed in a way where it would block all or would not correspond to that landmass. So let's say, for example, I'm in the center. I place the tile to the right of the center. There's water on there, and there's a portion of an island to the right of that tile. Boom, I move on to it. So I still have 2 tiles and 4 movement tokens left. What are movement tokens? They give you the ability to reposition your ship across already placed tiles to make it easier or give you more flexibility on how you want to place things. So the way you score in this game is by placing tiles legally in a way that they surround on all 4 sides another tile. So that Coast Guard station that you started on at the beginning of the game, if you can get a tile on the top, bottom, left, and right of that station, you will get some points for that, usually like 2 points. And you will continue doing that. Other structures might be completing this land structure of an island. And then if there's a lighthouse on that island, you'll get points for the lighthouse. You'll get points for the structure itself. And there's other things you might get points on, such as like a dock or something, where the dock will give you points too. And you'll unlock other tiles with their own respective bonuses and such as you progress through the game. Because this game, I'm not sure if the original board game had this, but I'm sure if people want to play more in the regular board game mode, they can find that out. I didn't want to because the freaking exploration mode is awesome. But in exploration mode, they give you various challenges to undergo, such as getting X number of points or discover X number of tile types or whatever. And when you accomplish those things, you might also get a bit of a bonus in regards to your rank and also unlockable tiles for future plays. If you're playing multiplayer in the board game and possibly even the exploration mode too, the way it differs is that you are obviously the boats will travel to different locations. They can go in different directions of their own accord. But in addition to that, you can actually trade tiles with your neighbors in order to better assist proper placement to get optimal scoring. And something I need to mention about the exploration mode that I forgot to say is that the game over mechanics there is that you have a limited amount of tiles. Let's say you start with 39 tiles. In each round, you'll get 3. You can pass the turn once you've gotten down to 1 tile, which means you have to spend at least 2 tiles per turn. Once you run out of tiles, the game is over. But whenever you manage to complete one of those surrounded tile structures, you are awarded additional tiles to extend your run. And that's where the survival comes in. The more 4 tile combos you build, the more tiles you earn, the further out you can explore, which of course also means it's going to be harder for you to get around the ocean because your ocean is getting bigger. So, but as you play, like I said, you unlock additional tiles which add their own scoring mechanics, potential complexities, and tile placement. And you also unlock boats. And the boats are pretty cool because the boats come with different abilities that make the game more flexible, but also more complex. For example, you might better use a boat like a hovercraft to move, like basically move place a tile somewhere against an island in a structure that you wouldn't have been able to do in a normal fashion. Like it might not be directly next to you, but you can still do it. So there's cool things like that, and makes them fun to unlock and then play around with as you see fit. There's also cosmetics you can unlock, such as the different visuals for the ocean floor, or seagull buddies that can come along with you, and they're just kind of like in the corner squawking and doing whatever seagulls do without fish. And that's pretty much it. For the most part, I think the game is a lot of fun. It does what it's set out to do, which is that it's a cozy tile placement game that is very much low stress, though technically I can see myself being a little stressed when I want to get that optimal score, but it's not meant for that. It's just meant to be place tiles until you're done and see how well you did. So a puzzle you can return to over and over again, sometimes with your friends, just to see how well can I explore this ocean today.
Very good. It's $12. What do you think?
Easy buy it recommendation, and it's cheaper than buying the physical, so there's a bonus for it too.
And something cool is I am looking at the Steam page and I am checking the reviews, and there are 0 negative reviews.
That's right. It is a good game. Also,
Normally
by
people find
Romantic.
something to bitch about, but
They will eventually, but for now, let's just bask in the joy. Maybe all the solid board game people showed up and were like, this is an adaptation of something I already knew I liked. They did a great job. So I'm sure some guy will come along later and go, why isn't there a Kraken in the game? Why am I getting my ship eaten? Whatever. Why can't I shoot things? But Beacon Patrol or Bacon Patrol is a great game.
very good. One last game to talk about tonight is a quick preview of Kindling. Developed and published by Talonbyte Games, the demo should be out for Halloween, and the full game is planned for early next year. Trapped in a nightmare of your own making, play as a witch who fights shadows with fire in a fast-paced roguelite where light is survival and every death makes you stronger. Break seals, gather embers, and face the truth of your greatest sin. Andy, you sinner, you! What's going on in this?
How did you know? Is my camera on right now? Shoot.
Yeah.
Oh god, I should turn it off too.
No, keep it going.
Oh, keep it going, babe. What can I say about Kindling? Kindling is a roguelite. It's set in a haunted forest where you play as a pyromancer witch. Your main goal is to uncover and break the magical seals to reveal more of the story and push back the darkness and nightmares that haunt your past. Each run offers a chance to gain ember fragments, which can be used to upgrade your skills and attacks. You'll have a fireball, dash move, campfire, which is like you set a campfire. It's kind of like an AoE attack. And a shield. The last one, the shield, being incredibly useful, as each run is a one-hit kill in this game, which is kind of wild, man. You'll go through and you'll upgrade your moves. You can gain like bigger fireballs and faster cooldowns, more abilities, things like that. Because you start off with just the fireball, and the campfire and the shield, but you actually have to unlock the dash move too. So you control your character with either mouse and keyboard, which at first feels a little weird, but you kind of get used to it. Or you can also opt in for like the click and run approach. I would say that's more similar to like Diablo, if you like going where you are. Honestly, like I don't know, like playing the game, I didn't put a ton of time into the demo. It didn't click with me and especially as somebody who plays a lot of roguelikes, I had some problems with it. And I'll tell you why. First, and I would say the main reason that I had some problems with it was the art direction. Because the world is dark. It's set in a haunted forest, and I get it. It's haunted, but the levels are dark, the enemies are dark, and in a game where it's like one hit, one kill, it's pretty frustrating to just accidentally walk into an enemy. You know what I mean? Like there's
that's fair.
yeah, I mean, like nothing against it, but like I was like, so to kind of lay the scene, it's I would say it's got two main colors. It's like red and black, and then there's a few areas that are blue. You know, like these little they're like magical seals that you have to find, but you have this like pathway that you kind of run around, and you run through the trees a little bit, and then your pathway like kind of shows up on the map like where you've been before, which is kind of nice, you know, because then you don't end up exploring areas that you've already explored. But as you're like running through, there's these little they're like witch plants. I can't remember what the name of them are exactly, but they say in the game they're like follow the witch weed or whatever it is, you know. Follow this plant to find the next area you need to go to, and you can kind of see them but not like 100%, and then you'll follow them into an area and there's these stumps, and at the stumps it's one of the two main enemies that like appear. The first enemy is kind of a bug, and the bug just like moves around and like jumps at you and does whatever. It kind of moves slow. The second enemy, and the most annoying one, is these like nightmare ghoul things, you know, and they'll kind of appear and then disappear and then like appear somewhere else. And so it's a constant like, should I shoot him here or should I shoot him there, you know? Or they'll just like, so many times, dude, I was playing and I would just walk into one, because it would appear in front of me and then I'd be walking a direction and then it would appear behind me and just get me, you know? And so I was like, all right, like I couldn't even see that guy, you know, which is kind of annoying. But the kind of saving grace along that is the shield, but the shield has like a 30-second cooldown until you get to use the shield again. And so it blocks an attack, but then I found myself just kind of like waiting in areas until my shield recharged, just in case like another enemy sprung out of somewhere, you know, and tried to attack me. But I also wasn't a huge fan of the controls, and like, you know, it could have just been me. They didn't feel like fast paced as it says on the Steam page, you know. They felt kind of slow, a little awkward, a little clunky, you know, and just not what I had pictured for roguelike games, you know. And then the roguelike element to it too. There's like progression meters, and you know, the whole gameplay is pretty much like exploring these woods, you know, and then you find these what are they called? Like magical seals, and you'll light a couple of campfires, and you're kind of waiting there until the fire burns out, you know, and collecting things. But so as you kill certain enemies, you'll collect these little embers, and you use those embers in between levels to gain new skills like the dash, as I mentioned, and then upgrade your skill tree. But if you die, then you lose those upgrades that you have up to that point. So the first time I died, I came back and I didn't have my dash anymore. And you have to use embers to, not as many though. I'll say not as many. Like you unlock it for like, for example, like 10, right? And then to get it back, you have to unlock it again for like 4, you know? So it's not as many, but still I was kind of like thrown off a little bit as far as like, here, let's progress, but let's also hinder you, you know? So it just felt like unwarranted punishment, I guess, in the game. So I mean, not to end on a sour note, but the game was kind of a meh for me right now, I would say.
Well, the good thing is the demo's not even out yet. The demo comes out for around Halloween with the game set for next year. You have the floor. Okay. What feedback do you give the dev right now? What do you tell them to do?
If it was me, I would, first of all, I would say the game feels very, very like twin stick shooter-esque, you know. And so with that, I would say definitely implement controller support, because I'm a big I don't mind mouse and keyboard. It's not my favorite, but I would say let's go controller. They have like a half controller support, and it doesn't do everything that I'd like it to, but because it does feel like a twin stick shooter. I could aim with one, move around with the other. That would be perfect. I would also say like maybe speed up the main character a little bit, and then take out the punishment for dying, you know, and having to like redo your skills. Like that's always so tough. Like, and if you had to make skills like a little more expensive, so that it's not like you just beat the game real fast. Like I would understand that, you know. And then I would say my only other thing, as I mentioned earlier, like everything is so dark. So when an enemy appears, it could appear in one place and then disappear and then appear in another place, and you're accidentally running into it just because you don't know where it's at, you know. Yeah. So I would maybe highlight them, or make them a different color, or make them blue, or make them just like stand out a little bit more, and have them appear and stay in the world instead of like multi-phasing, I would say. So, but I mean, you know, and that's, I'm interested to see where the demo went, because I do love roguelikes and I love twin stick shooters. And so this one kind of like hits the edge of both of those, but I feel like doesn't quite nail either one 100%. So yeah, that would be my feedback. So,
all right. Well, if the dev is checking this out, which I believe he is, considering he gave us the key,
check it out.
Yeah. What would your verdict be on this? Should people follow it, ignore it, add it to their wish list? Again, the demo is out in a few weeks, so should people follow it until the demo comes out and give it their own shot? What do you think?
I'm always one to have people give it their own shot, because my experience playing games is going to be different than somebody else's experiences playing the games, you know? So yeah, I'd say I don't want to trash on the developer or anything like that. I think they're doing a good job. I would say, like, for me, it just didn't click 100% where it's at right now. So yeah, I would say definitely follow it and try it out for yourself. And I would say around Halloween, I'm totally down to try it out again and see where the demo kind of sits with everything too.
Very good. Yeah. All right, and with that, we are done. That is it for this episode. Good Lord, it was a long one. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out and being here. Thanks to Bri for coming on for her review and hanging out with us for a bit. And thanks to Dave K for coming on, hanging out with us for a bit. Music this episode. Andy, since you mentioned Earthworm Jim, I'm going to play a song from Earthworm Jim. And because your name is Andy, we're going to play Andy Asteroids.
Yeah, dude, let's go. I love it.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
Good friends, the OneUps. Because I'm old and I play stuff that's 20 years old. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
Nope.
And not Aki asking if we still have to review Twinkleby.
Damn it.
I think ending on a laugh is great. Do that.
Okay, someone laugh.
Haha.